Chapter 445. We can only know the answer after we find him. Yun Jioge believed that Li Wei must have divined something, which was why he left her. What exactly was that calamity? Zishang had once asked Yun Jioge this question in her previous life, but unfortunately Yun Jioge didn't know much back then. I'm not sure either. Yun Jioge shook her head helplessly and said, back then I used my body to mend the heavens, and when my soul was about to reincarnate, I caught a glimpse of heaven's secret. However, I didn't have the time to look at it, so I could only seal it in a secret realm and let Li Wei search for my reincarnation with the map and key. That treasure map was the map you left behind. Zishang understood. It's not the original, just a copy. However, we can still find that secret realm. Zhou Xian and the other two outsiders could find it, let alone the owner of the treasure map. What's the situation in that secret realm? Is there anything I need to pay attention to? Zishang saw Zhou Xian's tragic end and felt that he had to make preparations early. About that, Yun Jioge scratched her face and said awkwardly, I don't really remember. Back then I just randomly found a secret realm to seal, but I didn't really understand the situation inside. Zishang realized that it was too early for him to relax. Don't worry, we'll cross the bridge when we get there. No matter what, she was the one who personally sealed it, so she should have some intuition or something like that. In any case, Yun Jioge was quite confident in herself. Forget it, we'll talk about this in the future. Go and rest first. Zishang touched Yun Jioge's hair. She was tense every day in the Grey Nation, and she hadn't rested in a long time. Accompany me. Yun Jioge held Zishang's hand. This ship was very big, and every disciple had their own room to rest and meditate. It would take another 8 hours to return to the Corpse sect, which was enough for them to have a good time. You really want me to accompany you? Zishang's handsome face was filled with gentleness, and his eyes were like a vast and warm ocean, as if he wanted to drown her. It couldn't be any more real. Yun Jioge used her fingers to hook Zishang's palm, and blinked her eyes seductively. They really hadn't been intimate in a long time. Thinking about the scene of her fighting with Zishang in her previous life, she felt a little hot. Zishang's kung fu was really good. She hadn't seen many of his tricks yet. The poison in your body has been detoxified. This time the tenderness was no longer a feint but a real one. Jiao Zhong's poison has been cured, but yours hasn't. Yun Jioge hugged Zishang's neck and kissed him. This really ignited the fire. Carrying Yun Jioge, Zishang rushed into a room as fast as he could. He grabbed Wolf, who was meditating inside, and threw him out. Then he closed the door and set up various defensive barriers. The entire process took less than half an hour. Yun Jioge giggled as he lay on the bed in his room. He didn't expect Zishang to be so impatient. What's so funny? I'm a man too. Zishang picked up Yun Jioge and put him aside. Then he threw away the bedding on the bed. She didn't know where he got the red ice silk bedding from. Zishang made the bed and scattered some red spirit flowers at the side. The atmosphere of the bridal chamber immediately rushed over. Yun Jioge originally just wanted to be affectionate with Zishang, but seeing him so serious she felt a little embarrassed. Do you want me to take a bath first? Although Yun Jioge used the dust cleansing talisman every day, she still felt that only a bath could cleanse her body. Then I'll help you wash your hair. Zishang really liked the feeling of Yun Jioge's fine black hair passing through his palm. Okay. She was happy to have someone willing to serve her. Zishang took out the black leopard pattern wooden bucket that he made for Yun Jioge and heated it with spirit water. Yun Jioge leisurely took off his clothes and entered the wooden tub. With his head facing back, he comfortably closed his eyes. Zishang helped her spread out her hair and combed it with a comb. Then he began to rub it for her. The two of them were affectionate in the room, but Wolf, who was thrown out of the door, felt very depressed. He was meditating, but he suffered such an unexpected disaster. The worst thing was that he left his storage bag inside. He wanted to go in to find it, but he didn't dare to knock. How depressing. Junior brother Wolf Fong, why are you standing here in a daze? Mo Jingyuan happened to come looking for him. Wolf Fong sighed and told him about how he was thrown out. Ha ha ha. Mo Jingyuan laughed heartily, then put his arm around Wolf Fong's shoulder and walked towards his own room. Alright, let's go sit at my place first. Junior Yunjie won't take a liking to your little things. You should call her junior sister now. Wolf Fong retorted in a small voice. Oh right, you should call her junior sister Yunjie now. Mo Jingyuan thought of Yun Jioga's curvaceous figure, then asked Wolf Fong in a low voice, "Do you really think that little secret realm can change a person's sex? What senior brother Mo also wants to try?" Wolf Fong glanced at Mo Jingyuan. Honestly speaking, Mo Jingyuan was very beautiful. He had phoenix eyes and plump lips. His fiery clothes exuded a heroic and seductive aura. If he became a woman, he would definitely be very beautiful. Wolf Fong felt that he could completely accept that kind of senior brother Mo. "I'm very satisfied with my little Momo. I don't want him to disappear. Junior brother Wolf Fong, you can try. I guarantee that you like it too." Mo Jingyuan winked ambiguously at Wolf Fong. He liked men because he liked the feeling of conquering the same sex. If it was a woman, she would be suppressed, so what was the point? Hee, senior brother Mo really likes to joke. Wolf Fong pretended to laugh a few times. Although senior brother Mo's intentions were known to everyone, as long as he didn't agree, senior brother Mo wouldn't act recklessly, so he dared to follow him to the room. "Alright, I won't joke with you anymore." Mo Jingyuan withdrew his smile and said in a serious tone, "Tell me the truth, what do you think about junior brother Yunjio no junior sister's secret realm?" "I think that junior sister Yunjio should have some reservations. That secret realm doesn't only have the gray iron ore, it should also have other good things, but it shouldn't be much, otherwise she wouldn't still be in the chi condensation realm. It's a pity that the method to enter the secret realm is too dangerous." Wolf Fong was also interested in this unexplored little secret realm, but when he thought about how he had to detonate the flying corpse's bloody fiend beads to enter, he lost all interest. Yun Jioga had a golden core realm 1,000-year-old Een corpse risking its life to save her, but he didn't have that kind of luck. And you're right. Mo Jingyuan thought about the terrifying scene of the flying corpses exploding, and the little bit of interest he had disappeared. Although the secret realm was good, one had to be alive to enjoy it. It was better to leave it to the sect to think of a way. If the sect could really mark that little secret realm, then they would have a chance to enter it in the future. As for his master Elder Mo Hua, he could only honestly report it to him. In any case, he didn't have the ability to kill Yun Jioga. At this time, Yun Jioga had already dried her body and washed her hair. Her jade body was lying on the large red bed, looking at Zhishang affectionately. The temperature in the room continued to rise. Chapter 446. Zhishang lowered his head and planted a kiss on Yun Jioga's forehead. Small kisses slowly spread all over her body as if he was worshipping a goddess. Yun Jioga felt that Zhishang's long black hair was as soft and silky as silk, like a feather tickling her heart. She couldn't help but kiss Zhishang back. The two were very passionate, and the hot air was like dry firewood about to burst into flames. Yun Jioga's hand slid across Zhishang's back and reached his abdomen. His tight 8-pack was very well defined and it felt very good. "Don't rush." Zhishang panted and blocked Yun Jioga's hand that was touching his lower body. Although it wasn't the first time they touched skin to skin, it was different from before. Zhishang wanted to be more gentle and considerate so that Yun Jioga would have an unforgettable experience. "I'm not rushing." "Who said I was rushing?" Yun Jioga's eyes were like silk as she flipped over and pressed Zhishang under her body. Her black hair flowed down like a waterfall, making her skin shine like jade. Her slender fingers drew circles on Zhishang's strong chest and abdomen, faintly discernible and captivating. "Alright, you're not rushing, I'm rushing." Zhishang's breathing quickened and his purple eyes darkened. His heart was itching from Yun Jioga's teasing, and all gentleness and consideration were thrown to the back of his mind. He suddenly flipped over and pressed the seductive Yun Jioga under his body. He bit her lips fiercely and joined with her gently but forcefully. The spaceship flew very steadily, but Yun Jioga felt like she was a small boat bobbing up and down on the sea, pushed by layer after layer of waves toward the peak. Yun Jioga's body turned numb and turned into a puddle of water. She could only cling tightly to Zhishang's body to prevent herself from falling into the sea. The moment they became one, Yun Jioga felt unprecedentedly comfortable. It felt like her soul was floating in the air. Her whole body was warm and she didn't even want to move a finger. "Concentrate and consolidate your cultivation." Zhishang was indeed Zhishang. Even at this moment he didn't forget to remind Yun Jioga to cultivate. Yun Jioga didn't need to move much. A warm spiritual power automatically started from her dantian and flowed through her organs and meridians. Back in the Grey Kingdom's mystic realm, she had already successfully built her foundation, but she hadn't had the time to consolidate her cultivation. After dual cultivating with Zhou Xian this time, threads of golden spiritual energy slowly gathered in her dantian to form a golden high platform. A silly little golden chick was lying on it. Every feather seemed to be condensed from light. It was the embryonic form of a phoenix. Yunjioga's divine blood was the true blood of a phoenix. She originally thought that after her physical body was destroyed, the power of the god's blood would disappear along with it. He didn't expect that the little bit of divine power left in his soul could actually nurture the phoenix true soul. Although the current golden chick was far inferior to the phoenix in her previous life, as long as it had the true soul, it could recover its divine blood one day. Yunjioga excitedly told Zhou Xian about this matter. "You're the goddess. Isn't it natural for you to recover God's blood? According to what you're saying, if I can't recover my divine blood, I won't be worthy of the title of goddess?" Yunjioga glared at him. Did this fellow know how to speak? Of course not. You'll always be the most honorable goddess in my heart. Zhou Xian kissed Yunjioga's forehead, his purple eyes shining with sincerity. Then if I'm not the reincarnation of a goddess, you won't like me, right? Yunjioga began to argue. Maybe women were all fools when they fell in love. They liked to hear men say that no matter whether you were a pig or a dog, as long as it was you, they would love you to death. But you are a goddess. Zhou Xian couldn't understand Yunjioga's thoughts. If she wasn't the reincarnation of a goddess, he wouldn't have waited in the lofty abyss for so many years. Forget it. I can't explain it to you. Yunjioga got up and put on her clothes. Although she knew it was stupid to be jealous of her, she was in a bad mood and didn't want to talk to that idiot Zhou Xian at all. Zhou Xian was helpless. He found that Yunjioga's temper was getting worse and she was becoming more and more like a goddess. Thinking about it this way, the silly and cute Yunjioga was easier to please. Of course, he wouldn't dare to say this to Yunjioga. After Yunjioga finished dressing, she opened the door and was about to go out for a walk. She saw Jin Yanwei guarding the door. When Jin Yanwei saw her come out, his expression was very complicated. Although Yunjioga used to be a man and hooked up with her thousand-year living corpse was very despicable. But now that she was a woman, why did it still feel so awkward? "What's the matter, senior martial brother Jin?" Yunjioga was very calm. She didn't think that there was anything wrong with hiding in her room and fooling around in broad daylight. "Master wants to see you. Junior martial brother Yun, no, junior martial sister Yun, come with me." Jin Yanwei's scalp went numb. After saying the two words junior martial sister, he turned and walked towards Master Cho Sen's room. Yunjioga followed him very leisurely. Inside the room, Cho Sen was sitting on a wide wooden chair with his eyes closed. The body of a 5-year-old child looked very weak. Sometimes Yunjioga also wondered what kind of curse was in the treasure map mystic realm. It could actually turn a male cultivator close to the late golden core stage into such a state. "Master, junior martial sister Yun is here," Jin Yanwei reported respectfully. Cho Sen opened his eyes and had a domineering appearance. He looked at Yunjioga and then waved his hand at Jin Yanwei. "All right, you can leave. Tell them not to speak carelessly when they return to the sect. Otherwise they will have to bear the consequences." "Yes, this disciple understands." Jin Yanwei bowed and then left. "What did the elder call me for?" Yunjioga politely asked. "Sit." Cho Sen waved his hand and a mahogany stool flew behind Yunjioga. Yunjioga very reservedly sat down, quietly waiting for Cho Sen to speak. "How is your Yin corpse, can it still fight?" Cho Sen suddenly asked. "Why does the elder ask this?" Yunjioga raised his brows. Cho Sen wouldn't want to become hostile, right? The Yin Corpse sect has sent news that Ink Flower and White Bones already know what happened in the Fiend Corpse mystic realm. They're just waiting for you to return to the sect. Cho Sen tightly knit his brows. He had fought with Ink Flower and White Bones for a long time. He knew that they only cared about profit and would do anything. Especially Ink Flower, she already had a grudge against Yunjioga's living corpse. Now that she had this new secret realm, she would definitely win over the other elders to force Yunjioga. "It's not the first time they've tried to deal with me." Yunjioga didn't care about Elder Ink Flower and Elder White Bones at all. If they had a way to deal with him, they wouldn't have waited until today. "Don't look down on Ink Flower. Our Corp sect only has 3 elders on the surface, but there are actually several elders that are in seclusion. I've received reliable news that Ink Flower has already asked Elder Hades to come out of seclusion and wants to use this chance to kill you. Chosun wasn't familiar with Elder Hades, so he couldn't help Yunjioga even if he wanted to. Chapter 447. Is there anything special about Elder Hades? Yunjioga hadn't been in the Corp sect for long, so she hadn't heard of this elder's name. There's nothing special about him. He's just very experienced and very old. Chosun revealed a sarcastic smile. Although Elder Hades was at the mid-Golden Core realm, he didn't have much longer to live. This kind of person would become hysterical when they were about to die. As long as there was a bit of hope, they would use it as their last hope. Mo Hua used this point to say that the small secret realm Yunjioga found had a miraculous effect of changing one's physique, misleading him into thinking that there was a possibility of increasing his lifespan. Elder Hades only wanted to extend his lifespan, so he would try anything. Not to mention that the new secret realm was worth taking a look at. Then does Elder Chosun have any suggestions? Yunjioga and Chosun formed an alliance to have a helper. Mo Hua, Whitebone and Hades, the 3 elders will form an alliance. If your corpse isn't injured, then the 3 of us can fight against them. This was the reason why Chosun asked Yunjioga if her corpse was good. If Yunjioga's corpse was injured in the small secret realm and lost its battle strength, then he wouldn't be a match for Mo Hua and the others. At that time he could only sacrifice Yunjioga. You don't have to worry about this. My corpse is in good condition, it won't be a problem at all. Xianxia wasn't just in good condition, he was extremely brave. It wouldn't be a problem for him to take on 2 people at once. Xianxia seemed to hear Yunjioga's thoughts as he reached out his hand to pull her. Yunjioga waved her hand. She was still feeling awkward from before, so she didn't want to bother with him. Although Xianxia felt hurt, he didn't dare provoke Yunjioga anymore. Since it's like this, then go and prepare. When you get off the ship, go directly to the main hall and explain the matter of the small secret realm. Chosun decided to end this quickly. As long as the sect master agreed with Yunjioga, then Elder Mo Hua and the others wouldn't be able to do anything. Many thanks for Elder Chosun's advice. I'll go and prepare now. Yunjioga said her goodbyes and returned to the room with Xianxia. Wolf Fong had already come in to retrieve his storage bag. Then he tactfully gave up the house to them. How do you plan to prepare? Xianxia asked seriously. I plan to prepare some talismans and formation discs that are convenient for escaping in case of any accidents. If Elder Mo Hua forced her, she did not have to stay in the Corp sect. I'll do it for you, Xianxia said with a flattering smile. Of course you'll be the one to do it. Get more flight talismans and fog talismans. Yunjioga would not be polite with him. All right. As long as Yunjioga was willing to talk to him, not to mention the flight talisman and fog talisman, even the space-piercing talisman could be conjured by Xianxia. While Xianxia was concentrating on the talismans, Yunjioga counted the treasures she had on her. There was only 1 demonic tripod and the cute baby was a weapon spirit. At the moment he had only activated farming and alchemy skills. He could not be counted on to fight. There was only 1 demonic fetus and it was still in its infancy stage. Its combat ability was not as good as its ability to attract hatred. If the elders of the Corp sect saw this, they would definitely be even more determined to kill her. The little skeleton monkey was used to collect Chi. The flying mother goo was good at converting death Chi. The 5-colored poisonous scorpion's combat ability was not bad, but with the treasure-seeking scorpion's love for his wife, the 5-colored poisonous scorpion would probably drag him down if he let the 5-colored poisonous scorpion fight. Forget it. The set of Evil Blade. Yunjioga could use it smoothly after entering the Foundation Establishment stage, but it would not be enough if she advanced to the next stage. The set of Thunderstorm Wings. Although this escape artifact was a little damaged, it was still good to use at the moment. There was also the White Bone Flame. After the poison of the 9-bone crusher was removed, she could use the White Bone Flame freely. It was a good trump card at crucial moments. Yunjioga checked her belongings and realized that she had too few artifacts on her. Compared to before, she was practically penniless. But then again, she did not use artifacts in the past. The body of the god's blood was her most powerful weapon. It seemed that she still had to dual cultivate with Zhishang and refine the true phoenix soul in her dantian. Yunjioge glanced at Zhishang, who was seriously drawing talismans. Forget it, I'm quite full today. I'll think about it next time. An hour later, Zhishang passed a thick stack of talismans to Yunjioge. The flying ship had also arrived above the Yin Corpse sect. The patrolling disciples found traces of them and opened the protective formation, allowing the flying ship to land. Elder Zhou Xian, the sect master has ordered you to bring junior brother Yunjio to the main hall immediately. The patrolling disciples were from the Ink Flower Peak. They surrounded the flying ship as if they were afraid that they would run away. Got it. Zhou Xian replied expressionlessly. Then he said to Yunjioge, who was following behind him, let's go. Yes. Yunjioge followed Zhou Xian to the main hall. Along the way she saw many disciples from the Ink Flower Peak and the White Bone Peak looking at them strangely. Elder Zhou Xian, will Elder Ink Flower and Elder White Bone bring their disciples to fight with us? Yunjioge could not help but ask Zhou Senior. If it was true, she had to make an escape plan in advance to prevent the situation from becoming too chaotic. Don't worry, they don't have the guts. Zhou Xian shook his head. No matter how the disciples of the Ink Flower Peak and the White Bone Peak listened to them, it would not change the fact that they were Yin Corpse sect disciples first and foremost. As long as the sect master was there, they would not be able to do anything. Of course, if the sect master personally gave the order, then all the Yin Corpse sect disciples would attack them. However, thinking about how the sect master protected Yunjioge previously, Zhou Xian believed that the sect master would not give such an order. This was also the reason why he was confident that he could bring Yunjioge back. That's good. Yunjioge saw Zhou Xian's calm expression. Her heart was also much calmer. No matter what, she still had Zhishang. At the very least, she still had God's blood. However, using God's blood in Yin Corpse sect was a waste. Unless it was absolutely necessary, she did not want to reveal her trump card. When Yunjioge walked into the main hall, she saw Elder Ink Flower and Elder White Bone immediately. When Elder Ink Flower saw Yunjioge, who had turned back into a woman, her seductive face immediately changed. Although there were also lesbians in the Joyous Union sect, Elder Ink Flower only loved men. When she thought about the male pet that she had her eyes on turning into a woman, she felt as though she had eaten a mouthful of sh*tea. Furthermore, the sh*tea was poisonous. Elder White Bone raised his eyebrows but did not say anything special. Other than Elder Ink Flower and Elder White Bone, there were two more cultivators in the main hall. One was an old man with a head full of white hair. He was dry and skinny and looked haggard. It was as though he already had one foot in the coffin. He should be Elder Hades. The other was a shifty-eyed, skinny, middle-aged man who was at the intermediate stage of the Gold Core realm. A pair of small eyes that were filled with schemes rolled around Yunjioge. Didn't they say that Elder Ink Flower only managed to invite Elder Hades? Why was there another one? Yunjioge glanced at Zhou Xian and saw that he was staring fiercely at the shifty-eyed middle-aged man. Zhou Xian's body was tense as though he had seen an enemy. Yunjioge had a feeling that the matter was already out of Zhou Xian's control. This newly appeared elder was one of the variables. Chapter 448. Xiang, I didn't expect you to dare to come back. This is the perfect time to settle the score. Zhou Xian released his demon monkey and Yin ghost to surround the triangular-eyed elder. The triangular-eyed elder was called Xiang. He was in the middle stage of the Golden Core realm and loved to steal. When Zhou Xian set up the Forbidden Land, he was tempted to sneak in and get some benefits. In the end, he did not succeed and angered Zhou Xian completely. After he left the Yin Corpse sect, he traveled around and did not dare to come back. Zhou Xian, I haven't seen you for so many years and your temper is still so bad. However, I'm not afraid of you this time. Xiang was not afraid at all. He had 3 allies. Zhou Xian, it's been so many years. Why are you still holding on to it? Elder Mo Hua said calmly. No matter what, we are from the same sect. Let's let bygones be bygones. Little sister Mo Hua is right. Xiang gave Elder Mo Hua a dubious look. Mo Hua, are you going to go against me for him? Zhou Xian asked fiercely. Hee, big brother Zhou Xian, you misunderstood. Why would I go against you? I wonder what benefits Yunjiu gave you for you to help her like this. Mo Hua squinted her eyes. She did not believe that there were only some inferior ores in that small mystery realm. If that was the case, why would Chosun help her so desperately? He was not a kind-hearted person. I like her. Of course I have to help her, Chosun said with a straight face. Pooh. Yunjioga almost spat. Chosun's excuse was too lousy. I didn't know you have such a strong taste. You like this kind of monster that is neither male nor female, neither yin nor yang. You should have said so earlier. Emohua covered her mouth and laughed. You are neither male nor female, neither yin nor yang. Yunjioga really wanted to get angry. Zishang held Yunjioga's hand. It was enough that he knew she was a woman. Yunjioga could only endure it. At this moment, Elder Hades, who had been silent, looked up at Yunjioga. This is Yunjio who discovered the small mystery realm, right? The pressure of a golden core attacked Yunjioga, clearly trying to intimidate her. Yes, I am. Yunjioga focused and dissolved Elder Hades's pressure. As expected, you do have some ability. Elder Hades's eyes shone brightly. How could someone who found a new mystic dimension in the Fiend Corp's mystic dimension not be capable? Xiering looked at Yunjioga maliciously. I've already informed the Grandmaster about the minor dungeon. You don't have to worry about it. Yunju, let's go. Chosun turned around to leave. Chosun had miscalculated the situation. He did not expect Emohua to find Xiering. Although Xiering liked to sneak around, his cultivation was indeed not bad. They had no chance of winning against 4 of them. Chosun, the sect master, isn't here yet. Why are you in such a hurry to leave? White bones and ink flowers figures flashed and blocked Chosun's path. Chosun's face was ice cold. Looking at their posture, he knew that they would not let this matter rest. The sect master had never interfered in matters of the sect, so he might not necessarily go against the other 4 grand elders for Yunjioga. Chosun quickly evaluated the situation in his heart and then sent a sound transmission to Yunjioga. The situation is not good, so you should act according to the situation. However, if you are willing to tell me how to find Nangong Yu's soul, I'll give you 6 monster monkey yin corpses to help you escape. Grand Elder, if I fall into their hands, they will definitely use the soul-searching technique on me. At that time, the matter of the treasure map and Nangong Yu will not be able to be hidden. How could 6 monster monkey yin corpses be enough? Yunjioga wanted to drag Chosun down with her. Chosun's face became even darker, but what Yunjioga said was the truth. He had to think of a way to protect her life, or at least ensure that her soul would not fall into the hands of others. Zishang, what are the chances of us escaping? Yunjioga did not place all his hopes on Cho Senator, he was just a support. Zishang was the core. These 4 people have already sealed all 4 of the main hall's doors. Ink Flower's side is the weakest, so we can break through from her side. Zishang had already calculated the chances of breaking through from the moment he entered the main hall. Elder Hades is a bit weak. Elder Hades' life force was weak, so he might not even be able to use a big move. Yunjioga felt that breaking through from his side would be more reliable. If we accidentally kill him, we will have a big grudge. Escaping was one thing, but killing was another. Zishang did not want to become enemies with the Yin Corpse sect, as he might be able to use them in the future. You're right. Yunjioga realized that he was still too inexperienced. Elder Hades had probably dug out this old antique from the coffin with this in mind. If he accidentally killed Elder Hades, he would be hunted down by the Yin Corpse sect to the end of his life. Ask Chosun when he is preparing to break through. Zishang had already made his preparations. Yunjioga sent a sound transmission to Chosun, telling him about his plan to start from Elder Hades. Let's wait for the sect master to come. If he does not help you, then we will start from Xiering. Chosun still had a bit of hope for the sect master. If the sect master did not help either side, then he would take the chance to beat up Xiering. Even if he accidentally killed him, it would still be reasonable. All right. Xiering was only slightly stronger than Elder Hades, and the difference between them was not huge. With Chosun's hatred for him, there might be unexpected benefits. Yunjioga calmed down and began to wait for the sect master to arrive. Speaking of which, she had never seen the sect master's true appearance, and she did not know if she would have the chance to see his true appearance this last time. Are you that interested in the sect master? Zishang asked half-jokingly. Everyone is curious. Do you dare to say that you are not interested? Zishang dared to say that Yunjioga would definitely beat him up. Of course I am. Zishang was indeed interested. He had always felt that the sect master was very similar to someone he knew. It would be best if he could take the chance today to verify his suspicions. Even Yunjiu is not in a hurry. Why are you in a hurry? Go back and sit down. Elder Hades smiled. Chosun snorted coldly and sat down on the wide wooden chair beside Xieying. Then he began to glare at him. Xieying's eyes darted around as he smiled at Chosun's angry glare. Ever since Elder Hades had displayed his prowess, he had not said anything else. Instead he looked like he was going to die at any moment. Elder Mo Hua and Elder White Bones simply moved a chair over and stood guard at the door. Yunjioga randomly found a chair and sat down. She did not stand on ceremony with the few elders at all. Logically speaking, as a disciple she did not have the right to sit with these elders. However, everyone had their own thoughts at the moment, so they did not have the time to care about Yunjioga's crime of disrespect. After all, she would die in the end. After about 5 minutes, a gust of black chilly wind blew from outside and entered the hall like a whirlwind. It landed in front of everyone. It was the sect master of Corpse Sect. Chapter 449. Greetings, Sect Master. Mo Hua and the others shouted in unison. Sect Master responded indifferently. His face was still covered in black mist, making it impossible to see what he looked like. Sect Master Yunjiu found a small secret realm but didn't report it. He's full of nonsense. We definitely can't tolerate his behavior in case the other disciples learn from him. We must punish him. Elder Mo Hua spoke first. That's right, a small secret realm is very important. It concerns the future development of our sect. For safety, I suggest we search Yunjiu's soul. Elder White Bones followed. I agree. Xieying raised his hand with a smile. I agree. Elder Hades nodded heavily. I object. Chosun stood up and said coldly, Yunjiu reported to the sect the moment he found a small secret realm without hiding anything. If you search her soul because of your selfish motives, will there still be disciples who will be loyal to our sect if it gets out? Chosun, we can resolve this matter privately. The sect disciples will only know that we have gained another small mystic realm. They won't know about things that they shouldn't know. Mo Hua had already thought of a solution a long time ago. There are so many disciples going to the Fiend Corp's secret realm. Are you going to kill them all? Chosun said sarcastically. They're all smart people. They know what to say and what not to say. Unless someone doesn't like our sect and wants to destroy it, Elder Mo Hua didn't give in at all. Yunjioga didn't say anything. As a low-rank disciple she couldn't say anything in this situation. If Sect Master helped her she would stay. If Sect Master didn't help her she would leave with Zishang. It was that simple. Sect Master was silent. Even the black mist on his face didn't move at all. He let Chosun and Elder Mo Hua argue. Chosun insisted that Yunjiogu had contributed to the discovery of the secret realm. Mo Hua had to search Yunjioji's soul for the benefit of the sect. Sect Master, what do you think? Mo Hua turned to ask Sect Master. He was the most important person. I got it. The Grand Master's voice was calm and no one could hear any emotion from it. It seemed like he wasn't going to help either side. It seemed like he had to leave Yin Corp's sect. Yunjioga secretly transmitted his voice to Zishang and Chosun, preparing to take action. Zishang began to gather his demonic power. Chosun approached Xieying without making a sound. He was waiting for the sect master to agree with Mo Hua, then they would attack together. Yunjiu is a disciple of my sect. No matter what she does, I, the sect master, should be the one to make the decision. The sect master's words stunned everyone. Sect master, what do you mean? Mo Hua did not understand. Could it be that the sect master wanted to search his soul personally? What I mean is, you guys are stretching your hands too far. The sect master's tone was fierce. A gust of black wind flew out from his shadow and turned into 4 shadows that stuck to the backs of the 4 elders, Ink Flower, White Bone, Yuming and Xieying. His killing intent was dense and he actually had the thought of crippling them. Chosun was stunned by the sudden reversal of the situation. He had thought that the sect master would at most speak up for Yunjioga. He had not expected that the sect master would help her. This was also good. In the future, Mo Hua and the rest would have to think twice before touching Yunjioga. Sect master, she's just an ordinary disciple. Is it worth it for you to stand up for her? Elder Mo Hua was so angry that her face was contorted. She had spent a lot of effort to invite Elder Yu Ming and Elder Xiang. She had thought that victory was within her grasp, but she did not expect the sect master to fall out with them for Yunjioga. Yunjia will be a candidate for my sect's sect master in the future. If any of you dare to touch her, it will be equivalent to declaring war on me. The sect master dropped another heavy bomb. The candidate for the sect master's peak was equivalent to the next sect master of Corp's sect. This was not a trivial position. Usually, all the elders had to be gathered to discuss before a decision could be made. Sect master, aren't you being too rash? Elder Yu Ming frowned. Although he did not have much time left, he still had the right to speak on the future direction of Corp's sect. 3 years later, I will gather the elders to discuss. The sect master's voice was filled with unquestionable dignity. The sect master had the right to decide. Usually he would be the one to choose and train, and the elders would discuss and decide. Since he had said so, the others had no right to object. Looks like the sect master is stubborn. Elder Mo Hua looked at Yunjioga with disgust. She had been pressuring Yunjioga all this while. If she really became the sect master, it would not be a good thing for her. At this moment, her killing intent increased. However, she suppressed it all in her heart and did not show it like before. She always left a way out. If she could not kill Yunjioga, it would be troublesome instead. Since the sect master has decided, I have nothing else to say. Goodbye. Elder Yu Ming stood up shakily. He did not want to get involved in these trivial matters anymore. If he could not find a way to extend his lifespan, he only wanted to live the rest of his days in peace. I still have something to do. I'll be leaving first. Xie Ying saw that the situation was not good and immediately fled. Otherwise, it would be troublesome if he was entangled by that madman. Cho Senator, since their ally had left, Elder Mo Hua and Elder Baigu also left decisively. In the blink of an eye, Yunjioga's crisis was resolved. She was dumbfounded. Since when did she have such a good relationship with the sect master? Why did she not know about it? There's something wrong with this sect master. I have to ask him. Zishang was not afraid that the enemy would set a trap. Instead, he was worried that the enemy would treat Yunjioga well for no reason. You're right. We have to get to the bottom of this. Yunjioga did not want to accept the kindness of others without knowing why. Even if he was the sect master of the Corp sect, he could not accept it. Seeing that the sect master was leaving, she hurriedly chased after him and shouted, "Sect master, please wait. I know you must have many questions to ask me. Come over." The sect master brought Yunjioga to the cave abode on the sect master's mountain. His cave abode was very simple. There was only a stone table and 4 stone chairs. There was nothing else. Sit. The sect master invited Yunjioga to sit. Then he took out a tea set from his storage bag and placed it on the table. He was prepared to brew tea. Sect master. Yunjioga was about to ask about what had happened just now. However, she saw the black fog on the sect master's face dissipate, revealing a familiar face. It was the person who had helped her previously. He was the outer sect supervisor of the Black Wind stronghold in Daby Mountain, Yin Shirley. "Brother Yin, why is it you?" Yunjioga had a look of disbelief. Zishang nodded to himself. It was indeed him. "I was instructed by the higher-ups to specially go there and lead you into the sect." Yin Shirley lowered his head and concentrated on brewing the tea. His movements were smooth and pleasing to the eye. He was completely different from the boorish man from the Black Wind stronghold. "Who's up there?" Yunjioga glanced at Zishang. "It couldn't be him, right?" "It's not me." If Zishang could order Yin Shirley, he would not have spent so much effort to get Yunjioga into the Corp sect. Chapter 450. The Almighty above said that he would meet you when the time is right. The most important thing now is to hide your identity and protect your safety. Yin Shirley poured a cup of spirit tea and placed it in front of Yunjioga. "So you already knew my true identity?" Yunjioga pushed the spirit tea away. She didn't want to drink it at all. She really didn't like the feeling of not knowing anything while everything was under someone else's control. "That's right, I already knew that you were the daughter of the Thunder Nation's Yun family, Yunjioga." Yin Shirley nodded and admitted. "Then you pretended to be the chief of the Black Wind stronghold just to lie to us?" Yunjioga's face darkened. She really thought that Yin Shirley was a loyal person. What happened before was real. "Ame and Hu Zi are my wife and son. I once led a group of brothers to be the chief of the Black Wind stronghold. Later I was betrayed by my brothers and the soldiers attacked. My son died and my wife jumped off a cliff. I fell after being slashed a dozen times. If I hadn't met an almighty who taught me a legendary corpse cultivation technique, I'm afraid you wouldn't be able to see me standing in front of you now. Xianxia sighed. In order to receive Yunjioga, he specially built the Black Wind stronghold in the Dabi Mountains to commemorate the past and the time when he was still human. You're a zombie? Yunjioga was shocked. She never expected Xianxia to be a zombie. No matter how she looked at him, he was a living person. I found a treasure 200 years ago, the heart of the tree. It can be said that I've come back to life. Xianxia smiled faintly. This is my biggest secret. Don't tell anyone else. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Yunjioga thought about how Elder Imo Hua and the others had fought with her to snatch the fake zombie Zishang. If they knew that the sect master Xianxia was the one and only super zombie in the world, she didn't know how they would feel. Miss Yun, you and your friend can stay in the Yin Corpse sect with peace of mind. As long as I'm here, I'll definitely protect you. The meaning behind Xianxia's words indicated that he already knew that Zishang was a fake Yin Corpse. Thank you. Yunjioga smiled. Even though Xianxia had told her his big secret, she still didn't dare to fully believe it. Who knew what kind of monster the person above him was? Also, I know what happened between you and Cho Senator. When the time comes, I will go with you to search for the mystic realm with the treasure map. Xianxia poured Yunjioga a new cup of tea. So you also know about Zhou Xian's matter? Yunjioga realized that Xianxia was really hiding his strength. He felt that everything was under his control. Zhou Xian and Zhou Xin were originally loose cultivators. I took them in after they came out from the secret territory of the treasure map. As for the small secret territory that Zhou Xian fell into, I will help you settle it, Xianxia said. It's that almighty expert of yours again, isn't it? Yunjioga raised her eyebrows. She had a feeling that her taking back the demonic fetus in the Grey Kingdom was also within that person's expectations. Miss Yun, you don't have to worry. That person has no ill intentions towards you. Xianxia paused for a moment before continuing. He even said that if you don't believe what I said, then I should recognize you as my master and become your Yin Corpse. What kind of joke is that? Do you think I have no interest in taking a rough old man like you as my Yin Corpse? Yunjioga glared. She didn't even want to take Yi Yunji in, let alone Xianxia. Most importantly, Xianxia looked like a living person. Taking back his freedom and making him a Yin Corpse was too pitiful. It's not my fault that I'm ugly. Xianxia touched his face in a self-mocking manner. However, he was relieved in his heart. Ever since he obtained the Heaven-Earth spiritual heart, he felt more and more like a human being. He didn't want to return to his previous muddle-headed state. When that almighty expert revealed this to him, he even had the thought of killing Yunjioga to fight for his freedom. However, he quickly suppressed it. Everything he had was given to him by the almighty expert. It was easy for him to take it back. Later, he followed the almighty expert's instructions and went to the Dabi Mountains to pick up Yunjioga. From the first time they met, he felt that this girl wasn't ordinary. She wasn't someone who would do anything to obtain power. Now that he had confirmed this point, he was willing to follow her wholeheartedly. It's useless even if you're as beautiful as a fairy. I definitely won't take you in. It's getting late, I'll take my leave first. Yunjioga quickly got up and left, as if she was really afraid that Xianxia would chase after her and beg her to take him in. Xianxia got up to send her off. Looking at Yunjioga's hurried back, he couldn't help but laugh. What an interesting girl, right? Behind Xianxia stood two Yin Corpses, one big and one small. They were Mei and Huzi. Hearing his words, the two of them nodded at the same time. They were much more intelligent than before. Why didn't you say anything earlier? After leaving Xianxia's cave, Yunjioga grabbed Zishang's hand and asked, Do you think there are any loopholes in what Xianxia said? I know who the almighty expert he was talking about is. Zishang's words were shocking. You know, who is it? Yunjioga immediately asked. His name is Fan Yin. Back then he was the most intelligent person in the human race. Not only was his Buddhist studies profound, his cultivation was extraordinary and he could see the future. You valued him a lot back then. When Zishang thought about what happened back then, his eyes would still be shrouded in a layer of haze. Profound Buddhist studies? Yoga felt that her throat was very dry. Her voice couldn't help but tremble. Could it be that I didn't even let a monk go back then? What nonsense are you thinking? You and him were just spiritual friends. Xianxia tried to make his tone normal. He couldn't act like a jealous man. So that's how it is. No wonder I don't have any memories. Yoga let out a sigh of relief. Luckily she wasn't that crazy. You don't have any memories of him? Xianxia raised his eyebrows. Back then Yoga and Fan Yin had a very good relationship. Yoga would rather tell Fan Yin many secrets than him. At that time he was very jealous. No, not at all. Yoga shook her head. She had a lot of messy memories in her head. There were countless handsome men, but she didn't see a bald one. If you don't, then forget it. Xianxia revealed a smile. It was best if she didn't. He hated that Yoga treated that guy differently. Let's talk about Yin Shirley. Do you think he's trustworthy? Compared to the bald Fan Yin who was still hiding somewhere, Yoga still felt that Yin Shirley was more important. Trustworthy. What he said just now was all true. Xianxia nodded. He had a good impression of Yin Shirley. He could tell that Yin Shirley was very sincere towards Yoga. It's good. With him accompanying us to the treasure map secret realm, I'll be more confident. This way Yoga wouldn't have to worry about Zhou Xian turning hostile. Yin Shirley, as the sect master of Yin Corp's sect, had been with Zhou Xian for so many years. He believed that he would definitely have a way to deal with Zhou Sr. Chapter 451. Yoga returned to her cave abode and saw Jin Chuan standing in front of her cave abode. Seeing her return, that scowling face actually squeezed out a smile. Junior sister Yun. Senior brother Jin, why are you looking for me? Yoga had a deep impression of Jin Chuan. As a righteous cultivator, he had been undercover in Yin Corp's sect for decades. This kind of character was indeed admirable. I have something to discuss with you. Is it convenient for you to come in? Jin Chuan's tone was very respectful. Yes. Yoga opened the cave abode and welcomed Jin Chuan in. She hadn't returned for a long time. Although she had already set up a ventilation formation in the cave, the air was still a bit stuffy. Yoga casually threw a few wind spells and invited Jin Chuan to sit. Junior sister Yoga. No, I should call you Miss Yoga. Jin Chuan smiled. What Yoga? What is senior brother Jin Chuan talking about? I don't understand. Yoga pretended to be dumb. Miss Yun, you don't need to pretend. Our young master personally sent me a message to tell me your identity. Jin Chuan stared closely at Yoga. Who is your young master? Did he misunderstand something? Yoga nonchalantly poured tea. Our young master is Purple Cloud Sect's Nangong Li, Miss Nangong Yu's nephew. When Jin Chuan said this, his heart sped up. So you are from Purple Cloud Sect. Although Yoga already knew this news, she still felt a bit emotional seeing Jin Chuan personally admit it. She didn't know what day it was that everyone came to confess their identities to her. That's right. Miss Yun, when you and young master worked together to deal with bloodthirsty sect, young master always praised you. Before Jin Chuan finished, Yoga interrupted. No need to say this nonsense. How do you know my identity? Young master hired someone to read his fortune. He said that a benefactor who can help us is about to appear. In addition, you suddenly turned back into a female, got close to Elder Zhou Xian, and your name. Jin Chuan almost said that she stuck the name Yoga on her forehead. Yes, I am Yoga. Yoga also felt that there was nothing to hide. Just tell me what you want. If you want to deal with the corpse sect, then I can't agree. The corpse sect was her best ally Dao. Lady Yun, you've misunderstood. Our Purple Cloud sect and the Yin Corpse sect do not interfere with each other's business. There is no enmity between us. Our young master only hopes that when you and Elder Zhou Xian go to the treasure map secret realm, you can bring him along. Jin Chuan said directly. If he wanted to die, he could have just jumped off Decapitation Cliff. Why would he need to travel so far? Yoga raised his eyebrows. Even a middle-stage or a core-stage cultivator was trapped in that secret realm, yet Nangong Li, a foundation establishment stage cultivator, wanted to join in the fun. Who did he think he was? Miss Yoga, you don't have to worry about the young master, he has his own ways to deal with it, you just need to help him leave a position. After the matter is done, Our young master will definitely reward you handsomely. If you have any needs, you can also mention it. Jin Chuan was very sincere. This is a serious matter. I don't dare to agree so easily. How about this? I'll think about it for a few days before giving you an answer. Although Yun Jioga had a good impression of Nan Gongli, going to the treasure map secret realm was not a small matter. She didn't dare to rashly agree. Miss Yun, Elder Chosin has always been ruthless. If our young master joins, it will only be beneficial to you. Jin Chuan wanted to persuade her again, but Yun Jioga didn't want to listen anymore. It's getting late, I'm tired, let's talk about it next time. Then I'll take my leave first. Jin Chuan now really regretted not building a good relationship with Yun Jioga back then. But who would have thought that a pretty boy who was restricted by a 1,000-year zombie would be his young master's friend, Yun Jioga. After Jin Chuan left, Yun Jioga then asked Xianxia, what do you think Nan Gongli has the confidence to enter the treasure map secret realm safely? It seems like the Purple Cloud sect understands this treasure map secret realm very well. Looking for Nan Gongyu is just an excuse. Chosin was just a lone cultivator before. Even if he joined the Een Corp sect and became an elder, the Purple Cloud sect shouldn't be afraid of him. If the Purple Cloud sect master really wants to bring his daughter back, there must be other ways. But they kept staying at Chosen's place and sent 2 disciples over to monitor. There must be something fishy. Xianxia slowly analyzed. This matter is really getting more and more complicated. Do you think it has something to do with the catastrophe? In Yun Jioga's memory, the secret realm where she sealed the news of the catastrophe was very barren. It was really not worth it for these people to rush over one after another. It's very likely before the Purple Cloud sect shows their sincerity. Let's wait and see first. Xianxia was very cautious. The more it was at a time like this, the more careful they had to be. Then I'll go into seclusion. It was just the right time to nurture the little phoenix in her dantian. In the following days, Yun Jioga went into seclusion, eating and sleeping. Chosin came to find her a few times, leaving a message saying that he wanted to discuss the treasure map secret realm with her. He also vaguely revealed that the news was already known by the sect master. They had to bring the sect master with them this time. Yun Jioga directly told him to do as he saw fit. Chosin said that they would set off in 3 months, and asked her to prepare early. Following that, there were some messy messages. Little Fatty Wolf Fong Mo Jingyuan Ciyue and the others were all asking her for all kinds of information. Although they did not know about the existence of the treasure map secret realm, the news of Yun Jioga being chosen by the sect master as a candidate still made them feel that something was amiss. Yun Jioga replied to all these messages with 4 words, no comment. 2 months later, Jin Chuan sent a letter saying that Nan Gongli wanted to meet her. His sincerity is here. Yun Jioga pinched the communication talisman and placed it in front of Xianxia. You can go and meet him. Xianxia glanced at it. This Nan Gongli was really calm. I hope he can really bring some useful information. During this period of time, Yun Jioga had been rummaging through her memories for clues about the treasure map secret realm, but unfortunately, it was to no avail. In her previous life she wanted to be pregnant with the son of life like a madman, and the relevant memories were all like this, completely useless. Xianxia helped Yun Jioga reply to Jin Chuan, arranging to meet Nan Gongli at midnight 2 days later at Xian Market's Drunken Fragrance Brothel. Drunken Fragrance Brothel was a place in Xian Market that specialized in selling spirit wine. It was filled with customers, and a private room had to be booked in advance. Yun Jioga arrived at Huang Songya's room on time, and saw that Nan Gongli was already waiting there, and Bailey Moyun was actually accompanying him. Lady Yun, long time no see. Bailey Moyun still had a handsome appearance, smiling and showing his white teeth as he greeted Yun Jioga. Before Yun Jioga could reply, she saw a peach-red figure flying towards her. Chirp chirp chirp, chirp chirp chirp. A fist-sized small bird goose circled around Yun Jioga and chirped continuously, venting its longing for her. After not seeing her for a few years, Little Peach had grown several times in size, her fur was fluffy, and her small black eyes were rolling around. She was very cute. Little Eagle Goo also flew over, and after chirping at Yun Jioga arrogantly, it returned to its master Nan Gongli's side. Seeing these 2 cute little things, Yun Jioga felt that the distance between her and them had shortened greatly. She went straight to the point and asked, Nan Gongli, you called Bailey Moyun over, are you bringing him along? Chapter 452. Yes, Bailey Moyun will also go with us, so I need Lady Yun's help. Nangongli nodded calmly. What makes you two Foundation Establishment Realm cultivators think that you won't be in danger when you enter the secret realm? If you don't tell me, I won't help. Yun Jioga sat in front of the two while Zishang sat in a corner. Lady Yun, it's like this. Our sect will give us defensive magic tools to protect ourselves. Bailey Moyun said with a smile. Who are you trying to fool? You want me to help with such insincerity? By the way, don't try to use my identity to threaten me. The sect leader of the corpse sect already knows my identity. Yun Jioga stroked Little Peach's fluffy feathers and poured a cherry pill to feed it. Xiao Tao swallowed the cherry pill and chirped at Bailey Moyun. Master is an idiot. You ingrate, I raised you for nothing. Bailey Moyun glared at his pet. Chirp chirp chirp. You are an idiot. Xiao Tao was not afraid of him. Lying in front of Lady Yun meant that he was an idiot. Yun Jioga, to tell you the truth, other than the keepsakes our elders gave us, we do have something to rely on. But this matter concerns the secret of our sect. Nangongli wanted to say something but stopped. You are begging me now, not me. If you can't agree to my conditions, there is nothing else to say. Goodbye. Yun Jioga put down Xiao Tao with a cold expression and was about to leave. Chirp chirp chirp, don't go, sit for a while more. Xiao Tao circled around Yun Jioga and then went to Bailey Moyun's head. Chirp chirp chirp. Idiot idiot. Lady Yun, don't go. I will tell you, okay? Bailey Moyun immediately surrendered. They did not have many trump cards and did not know how much Yun Jioga knew about the treasure map secret realm. If they lied and angered her, it would not be worth it, so they might as well tell her the truth. For the sake of Xiao Tao and Little Eagle, I will give you two another chance. Tell me, what is the secret? Yun Jioga sat down. Xiao Tao immediately flew to her side in a fawning manner. Even the Little Eagle Goo flew over. Yun Jioga fed them a few more cherry pills. Little Peach chirped and acted cute, and the atmosphere became much more relaxed. Bailey Moyun heaved a sigh of relief. However, he did not immediately reveal the secret. Instead, he looked around and asked, Where is your expert bodyguard, Yi Zi? I'm here. It's just that it's not convenient for me to show my face. Yun Jioga raised his head and looked at the left corner. Zishang was deep in thought the moment he came in. No one knew what he was thinking, and he didn't care about their conversation at all. The 1,000-year living corpse you saw in the Yin corpse sect was him, right? Bailey Moyun said confidently. Yes. Yun Jioga was not afraid to admit it. Amazing, he even deceived the people of the Yin corpse sect. Bailey Moyun was truly impressed. The Yin corpse sect was a large demonic sect. To be able to deceive those old monsters meant that this expert was even more powerful than those old monsters. Am I the one asking you now, or are you the one asking me? My time is very precious. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you here. Yun Jioga's attitude was amiable because of these two little goo. If it were someone else, she wouldn't even stay a second longer. Long time no see. I'm just worried about you. Bailey Moyun smiled shamelessly, then said seriously, Regarding the treasure map and the secret realm, we, the Limitless Sword Pavilion, don't know much. However, the sect once left a rule saying that there is a big secret in the secret realm that concerns all living beings in the world. As long as there is a clue about that place, we must investigate it at all costs. And then, Yun Jioga's expression was very calm. Our Violet Cloud sect also has the same ancestral teachings. However, because my aunt Nangongyu had once entered that secret plane, we received more information than them. That secret plane is extremely mysterious. The entrance is also known as the Cursed Land. The higher one's cultivation, the stronger the curse, Nangongli followed up. Cursed Land. Yun Jioga frowned. Just hearing about it made her uncomfortable. Yes, and the more people in the team, the stronger the backlash. Aunt Choshan and Chosun were all in the middle stage of the Gold Core realm. After Choshan escaped, Chosun continued to stay by Aunt's side, so they suffered the most from the backlash. Nangongli sighed. This conclusion was obtained at the cost of Aunt's life. I see. Yun Jioga nodded. Suddenly, some images flashed through her mind. A land of death. A boundless land of death. Not a single blade of grass grew. All the demonic beasts were dead. It was a despairing sight. Miss Yun, what's wrong? Bailey Moyun noticed that Yun Jioga's expression was not right. Nothing. Yun Jioga pressed her swollen head and the images disappeared. Headache. Zishang finally came back to his senses. He came behind Yunjioga and pressed her temples. Some strange images suddenly appeared. I'll tell you when we get back. After Yunjioga sent a voice transmission to Zishang, she looked up at Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun. Do you have any other news? That's all for now. Miss Yun, I sincerely hope that you can help us fight for a place. We will become your most loyal allies. Bailey Moyun looked at Yunjioga with the most sincere eyes. Then he secretly flicked Xiao Tao's butt. Chirp 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 chirp. My master might be stupid, but he's a good person. Xiao Tao had followed Bailey Moyun for so many years and she was still on his side. I'll help you think of a way now. I'll try my best to reply to you tomorrow. Yunjioga stood up and left Ziyun workshop with Zishang. What happened to you just now? Zishang appeared and pulled Yunjioga's hand. Just now, the image of a land of death suddenly appeared in my mind. Is this the situation of the catastrophe? Yunjioga's face was very pale. That kind of feeling was too despairing. Her whole body was cold. Even if the catastrophe is really descending, this is not your responsibility alone. Zishang hugged Yunjioga in his bosom. He had wanted to say this sentence for a long time. Even if she was the goddess, the noblest and most powerful woman in Blue Wave's continent, she shouldn't shoulder such a heavy responsibility on herself. Yunjioga smelled the fragrance of Zishang and felt his warm bosom. Her heart gradually sank. Nangong Li and others said that if we enter the secret realm together, the curse will be more difficult. At that time we might have to separate. We'll talk about it when the time comes. Unless it was absolutely necessary, Zishang didn't want to leave Yunjioga's side. Then let's go back and look for Yin Shirley first. Tell him that Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun also want to go and let him make arrangements. This matter was better left to Yin Shirley. However, since she knew that Yin Shirley was Fan Yin's subordinate, Yunjioga believed that Yin Shirley wouldn't refuse her request. After we settle the matter of Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun, we will continue to enter seclusion. Zishang also felt that there might be danger in the secret realm. He had to repair his demon body before they set off. That way he could better protect Yunjioga. Chapter 453. The night was dark and there were no stars or moon. The Yin Corpse sect was silent. Yunjioga and Zishang quietly came to Yin Shirley's cave and called him out with a communication talisman. Aren't you in closed-door cultivation? Why are you looking for me so late at night? Yin Shirley looked at Yunjioga in surprise. I want to bring 2 people to the treasure map's secret realm. Yunjioga didn't hide anything from Yin Shirley and directly told him Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun's identities. After Yin Shirley heard this, he was silent for a moment before asking, Are you sure there's no problem with these 2? I'm not sure, but we have to bring anyone related to the treasure map's secret realm. They might be useful in the future. They have more information than we thought. Yunjioga told him the information that Nangong Li revealed and finally said, When the time comes, we might have to split up. There's actually such a thing. Yin Shirley frowned and asked, Then if we bring our own Yin corpses, does that count as a team? It shouldn't count. Yunjioga shook his head. Yin corpses weren't living beings and were at most a kind of magic tool. They shouldn't be cursed. When the time comes, I will recognize you as my master and enter the secret realm with you. Yin Shirley said solemnly. He had promised that powerful being that he would protect Yunjioga. The secret realm was so dangerous he couldn't let Yunjioga act alone. Other Yin corpses might not have a problem, but it's hard to say for you. After all, you are no different from a human. Yunjioga shook his head. Yin Shirley's face showed a hint of hesitation. He was special because he had the heart of the heaven and earth. If he took it out, don't say something stupid like taking out the heart of the heaven and earth. Normal Yin corpses are easy to find, but there is only one smart and capable sect master like you. Yunjioga still needed Yin Shirley's help. How about I help you find an obedient and useful Yin corpse? Although Yunjioga's words touched Yin Shirley, he still felt that he should do something. No need, I have many treasures on hand. You just need to help me stabilize Zhou Xian and arrange a place for Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun. There was only a month left until they set off. Even if Yin Shirley could help her find a powerful Yin corpse, she wouldn't have the time to tame and train it. That's good. You must let me know if you need anything. I will satisfy all your needs. Shirley was worried that Yun Jioge was a greedy fellow. But now he felt that she was being too polite. She didn't ask for anything and he didn't even have a chance to perform. Don't worry, I don't treat you as an outsider. It's getting late, I'm leaving. Yun Jioge waved her hand and was about to leave when Zishang reminded her. We have to go into closed-door cultivation when we get back. Let him contact Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun himself. He didn't want Yun Jioge to be distracted by these things. All right. Yun Jioge also felt that it was better to let Shirley handle these matters. She sent a message to Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun and gave their communication talismans to Shirley before leaving. When he returned to his cave abode, Zishang carefully set up various defensive formations, as if he was afraid of being attacked. Aren't you being too careful? Even if someone really wanted to attack, Shirley would be the first to stop them. This month I will be dual cultivating with you to restore my demon form. The commotion might be a little big. There's nothing wrong with being prepared. After Zishang set up the defensive formations, he started to set up the soundproofing formations. Don't tell me you want us to lie on the bed for this month. Although Yun Jioge liked to dual cultivate with Zishang, lying on the bed for a month was too much. She wasn't a member of the Joyous Union sect. Even if she was from the Joyous Union sect, there was no reason for her to lie on the bed and cultivate every day. Of course I have to lie on the bed. After Zishang set up the soundproofing formation, he looked at Yun Jioge. His purple eyes shimmered. Originally I thought I wouldn't have the chance to restore my demon form. However, ever since your god blood recovered, I realized that my demon heart has started to condense. Don't you want to help me? Back then, Zishang had abandoned his physical body and transmigrated to this world. In the end, he had fused with a single-horned purple python. Although this single-horned purple python was a rare demon and had a very strong physical body, it was still a far cry from his previous dragon body. Now that he had the chance to restore his demon form, he naturally wouldn't miss such an opportunity. However, to restore his demon form he needed to dual cultivate with Yun Jioge. By borrowing her power of God, he needed her cooperation. Of course I want to help you. Ever since Yun Jioge regained her memories, her guilt towards Zishang grew heavier. Even if it was to climb a mountain of swords and plunge into a sea of flames, she wouldn't say a word, let alone dual cultivate on the bed. Then let's sleep. Zishang had been waiting for this sentence. He picked up Yun Jioge and put her on the bed. The two of them took off their clothes and began dual cultivating. This time, Zishang wasn't as gentle and considerate as before. He kept teasing her until she didn't want it anymore before entering. Instead, he solemnly and seriously rubbed a few of her acupuncture points according to the rules of dual cultivation. After she got used to it, he directly entered. Next, it was time to return to one. Their spiritual powers were interconnected. Just like that, the two of them lay on the bed day and night. When they were thirsty, they drank spirit dew. When they were hungry, they ate fasting pills. The effects of their cultivation were simply amazing. Demon marks began to appear on Zishang's handsome face. In the past, his demon marks were purple-black, colorful like snake marks, and there was a short purple sharp horn on his head. This time, the demon marks began to change color, turning completely black. The snake marks began to elongate and change, like waves rolling down layer by layer, rippling with incomparable demonic light. The purple horn gradually disappeared and was replaced by a black horn that looked like that of a deer. It seemed to contain endless power and looked extremely ferocious. At the same time that Zishang changed, the little golden chick in Yun Jioge's dantian was also changing. The golden fluff began to have luster and the little tender mouth became a lot harder. The most important thing was that the eyes were clear and transparent, as if they could see everything in the world. Yun Jioge tried to open her spiritual eyes, which were much better than before. She could even see the changes of the surrounding spiritual power clearly. When the two of them dual cultivated, a lot of extremely pure spiritual power flowed out, and all of it was secretly absorbed by the cute little baby. Xiao Xiao, eat more. This is all good stuff. The cute little baby gave all the pure spiritual power absorbed to the devilish fetus. Now the devilish fetus was no longer like a baby tire. He now looked about a year old with big eyes, a raised nose, a small mouth, soft black hair and fair skin. He looked about 70% similar to Yun Jioge. Now the devilish fetus could walk steadily. When it waved its hands, the black devilish chi was faintly discernible. It completely looked like a little devil. Fortunately, the demonic tripod itself was a demonic weapon, which complemented its devilish chi. If it was any other spiritual weapon, it would probably have been destroyed. Xiao swallowed the spiritual power sent by the cute little baby, and then began to meditate with her legs crossed. She couldn't wait to grow up and go out to protect her master. Under the influence of such a mood, her growth was also very fast, but she was still far behind Zishang. Chapter 454. In less than a month, the demon marks on Zishang's face had taken on the shape of a dragon. The antlers on his forehead looked hideous, and his aura grew fiercer and fiercer. Yunjioge and Zishang couldn't take it anymore. The little chick in her body didn't seem to change, but she felt something was off. She couldn't say what it was. Why don't we take a break? Yunjioge pushed at Zishang's chest. How long had they been cultivating? Her waist was about to break. This is the last time. Zishang could feel that his demon heart was close to completion. Just one last bit more. He kissed Yunjioge's arm, then pressed down. His passionate kiss enveloped her like a storm. Yunjioge felt like she was on a boat again. Tossing and turning, she felt like she was about to fly into the sky. In the end, Zishang's eyes turned red. His aura exploded, filling the entire cave with draconic energy. The small abode shook violently. If it wasn't for the soundproofing barrier and the defensive barrier, the abode would have collapsed. Yunjioge felt dizzy. She hurriedly wrapped her arms around Zishang's neck. Zishang grabbed her head and kissed her. A warm and violent aura entered her dantian. Yunjioge shivered as the little chick in her dantian burst into flames. Then it reached her dantian and underwent a nirvanic rebirth. In the end, it transformed into a white egg inside of her. Zishang narrowed his eyes. The draconic energy finally condensed into a demon heart, beating in his chest. What's going on? Yunjioge almost kicked Zishang away. What? Zishang had just recovered his demon heart and his eyes were still red. He didn't know what was going on. Look for yourself. Yunjioge patted her belly. Why is there an egg in there? Zishang looked at Yunjioge's belly in confusion. It was white, flat, and smooth. Open your demon eye and look inside. Yunjioge kicked Zishang angrily. This guy must have become stupid from cultivating. Zishang hurriedly opened his demon eye and saw a small white egg in Yunjioge's belly. It was only the size of a baby's fist and it was especially beautiful and cute. He couldn't help but reach out to touch Yunjioge's belly. It was flat and it was still soft. What the hell are you touching? What's going on? Yunjioge was about to die from anger. Her little phoenix had turned into an egg, so how was she going to cultivate the divine blood in the future? I don't know either. Can you try and see if your god's blood can still be used? Zishang asked. Let me try. Yunjioge stretched out his finger and a golden flame appeared. Underneath it was the white bone fire flickering with a faint light. Divine flame? Zishang's eyes lit up. This golden flame was unique to the goddess. Divine flame? Yunjioge only felt that this flame was very familiar, as if it had come from within her body. At this time, the thunderfire needle that had been kept in the storage bag all this time suddenly flew out. A faint golden light flashed behind it, and it circled around her like an obedient little bird. This needle doesn't look normal either. Previously, Yunjioge had only treated the thunderfire needle as an acupuncture tool, but now she realized that the thunderfire needle was as obedient as a child. It even sent a happy message to her heart. She casually waved her hand, and the needle turned into a beam of light that shuttled back and forth in the room, bringing with it bursts of golden light. It was incomparably beautiful. Your thunderfire needle is finally alive. Zishang seemed to see the goddess standing on top of the clouds. Thousands of needles rained down like a meteor chasing after the sun, covering the entire land. It seems that this egg is fine. Yunjioge could feel that the power of the divine blood in her body was very rich, even better than before. Could it be that the little phoenix has been reborn? Zishang also had no experience in this area. Maybe. Since it was fine, Yunjioge couldn't be bothered to think about it. Anyway, this little phoenix came out on its own. As long as the divine blood was still there, it was fine. Let's go. Let's go out quickly. We are leaving tomorrow. They are all waiting anxiously. Yunjioge looked up. The communication talismans had filled up the space of their cave abode. She randomly picked one and all of them were asking when she would come out of seclusion. Zishang's demon heart had been completely cultivated, and he could restore his demon body at any time. At this moment, the aura on his body was even more restrained and valiant. He could completely conceal his aura without the need for invisibility. When he didn't want to, he wouldn't attract anyone's attention. I will send them a message and ask where they are gathering. Yunjioge waved a communication talisman and sent it out. Shirley quickly replied with a message. They were gathering at the spider workshop, which was the furthest away from Corp's sect. Because this matter was very secretive, they had to hide it from others. Even Jin Yanwei from Enemy Mountain didn't know about it. Yunjioge packed up everything and went to the spider workshop with Zishang. The spider workshop was opened by a golden core stage spider demon beast and a rogue cultivator. This workshop was made from its own spider silk, and it was filled with white spider silk everywhere. Yunjioge had just entered the workshop when the white spider silk floated over. It looked like it was trying to entangle with her. Zishang stretched out his finger and flicked it. The white spider silk immediately started burning. Is someone following us? Yunjioge could also feel that someone was looking at her. This spider silk is used for surveillance, but it's fine. It's just a small spider. Zishang really didn't care about this golden core stage small spider. Yunjioge was about to ask Shirley about the situation when a small white spider the size of a thumb floated in front of her. It was carrying a yellow communication talisman on its back. Shirley's voice automatically floated out. You've arrived. Your news came quickly? Yunjioge grabbed the small spider that was flashing with white light and played with it in her hand. The small spider squeaked. It was frightened by Zishang's gaze and obediently lay in Yunjioge's hand, not daring to move. The golden core stage spider in the spider workshop is my friend. We are waiting for you at the Drunken Fragrance Tower. Hurry over. Shirley said. Alright, then we will go over now. Yunjioge nodded and flicked the small spider away. As long as this golden core stage spider wasn't an enemy, it was fine. The Drunken Fragrance Tower is over there. Zishang scanned with his divine sense and had already figured out the situation in the spider workshop. Yunjioge followed Zishang into the Drunken Fragrance Tower and saw Shirley sitting in the middle. On his right was Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li. On the left was Zhou Xian and a beautiful woman in red. The woman's black hair was combed into small braids. Her eyelids were faintly purple and her lips were as red as blood. She was extremely beautiful. When she saw Zishang and Yunjioge enter, her eyeballs stuck to Zishang like spider silk. Chapter 455. You're here. Let me introduce you. This is my friend Chun Sanyang. This is our Corp's sex disciple Yunjioge and her guard Yizi. Shirley introduced them politely. Logically speaking, he had previously announced that Yunjioge was the sect head candidate, so he should be his disciple. However, because the almighty beings held Yunjioge in high regard, he did not dare to take advantage of him. I'm Lady Chun Sanyang. Greetings, Senior Yizi. I'll have to trouble Senior to take care of me during this trip to the mystic realm. Chun Sanyang gracefully rose to her feet and bowed. In the blink of an eye, a series of amorous eyes flew towards Zishang. She did not take Yunjioge seriously at all. In her heart, Yunjioge was just an ordinary foundation establishment cultivator. How could he compare to Zishang the great demon? Even though Shirley had said that Zishang was Yunjioge's bodyguard, she had treated it as a cover-up. Zishang didn't even spare a glance at the little spider that thought too highly of herself and asked Shirley directly. Just these people? That's right. Zhou Xian said that the entrance to the mystic realm is at the 100,000 mountains. Chun Sanyang stayed there for a period of time. With her help it will be much better. Shirley explained this to Yunjioge. As for Chun Sanyang's disrespectful attitude towards Yunjioge, he did not deliberately correct her. The mighty figure asked him to protect Yunjioge, so the more inconspicuous Yunjioge was, the better. Zishang had the same thought, which was why he chose to give himself up instead of hiding himself. On the other hand, when Yunjioge heard the words 100,000 mountains, he thought of Junichen and Luo Tian. He wondered if he would be able to see them this time. After all these years they should have improved a lot. If we have time we'll go find them. Zishang knew what Yunjioga was thinking. All right. Yunjioga nodded. Ahem. Ian Shirley faked a few coughs and looked at Zishang respectfully. Senior, can we set off now? His attitude made it clear that Zishang was the leader of this operation. Let's go. Zishang nodded coldly, turned around and walked out. Ian Shirley took a step back and stood on Zishang's left. Chun Ernyang rushed to stand on Zishang's right side. Cho Sin had no choice but to follow beside Ian Shirley. Because of this, Yunjioga could only be reduced to walking with Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li. After all, they were all Foundation establishment cultivators. Yunjioga did not mind. She was about to ask Bailey Moyun something, so she secretly sent a voice transmission. I say, aren't you afraid of being killed by directly revealing your identities? The two of them were really bold, openly following the Een Corp sect in and out like this. Were they not afraid of being misunderstood as the Purple Cloud sect and the Everlasting Sword Pavilion's betrayal? At the start I was a little worried. Who would have thought that Sect Master Ian Shirley would be such a good person? Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li originally wanted to pretend to be Ian Shirley's bodyguards, but Ian Shirley said there was no need. They were all on the same side and there was no need to hide. His attitude was quite sincere. What about Cho Sin? Yunjioga glanced at Nangong Li. This guy and Cho Sin still had a head full of lawsuits. He wondered how they were doing now. However, what she wanted to know the most was whether Bailey Moyun knew about the relationship between Cho Sin and the Nangong family. I don't know. Cho Sin didn't even look at us from start to finish. However, he probably won't do anything to us. Bailey Moyun shrugged. When Yunjioga heard this, she guessed that Bailey Moyun definitely knew something. She could not help but ask, did Nangong Li tell you about Nangong Yu? What about Aunt Yu? Why don't I know about it? Bailey Moyun feigned ignorance. Stop pretending. Already know about Nangong Yu. I've even seen her before. Yunjioga sneered. What did you say? Bailey Moyun blurted out. Ian Shirley, Cho Sin and the others all turned to look at him. Nangong Li also looked over coldly. Oh, nothing. Bailey Moyun laughed awkwardly. He patted his spirit beast pouch and said, I'm chatting with my spirit pet. Chirp chirp chirp. Xiao Tao's fluffy bird head popped out of the spirit beast pouch. It glanced sideways at its stupid master. It was the scapegoat again. Later we will first use our flying artifact to leave the Een Soul mountain range. Then we will take a flying ship to the 100,000 mountains. Ian Shirley looked at Bailey Moyun with a hint of warning. They were a few thousand miles away from the 100,000 mountains. Hence Ian Shirley had specially brought a small flying ship over. Yes. It's my fault. I will definitely pay attention. Bailey Moyun immediately apologized. Sco. Zishang continued to walk forward. However, although he was walking in front, all his attention was on Yunjioga. He knew the content of her conversation with Bailey Moyun like the back of his hand. Hence he was not flustered. I say, why are you so excited? You want to follow us to the mystic realm with your unstable personality? Be careful not to drag us down. Yunjioga looked down on Bailey Moyun mercilessly. Oh, just now you said that you saw Aunt Nangong Yu. How is that possible? She has been missing for many years. Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li grew up together. He was very close to Nangong Yu. I found a coffin in Cho Sen's forbidden ground. Nangong Yu's body was inside. It has been well preserved all these years. Even her cultivation did not drop. Yunjioga truly admired Cho Sen's deep love for Nangong Yu. Aunt Yu is indeed with Cho Sr. Bailey Moyun had also heard some rumors about this. Don't pretend. I don't believe that the Purple Cloud sect does not know of Nangong Yu's whereabouts. Your limitless sword pavilion is not inferior to the Purple Cloud sect. They have so much information about the mystic realm. Do you believe that you have an ancestral teaching that it has nothing to do with Nangong Yu? Yunjioga felt that the Purple Cloud sect definitely had more information about the mystic realm. However, Nangong Li seemed to be a tight-lipped person. Hence she decided to think of a solution from Bailey Moyun. No wonder. Bailey Moyun furrowed his brows and pondered. I have quite a lot of information here as well. Why don't you use the Purple Cloud sect's information to exchange for it? I'm only doing this for Xiao Tao's sake. Yunjioga continued to flirt with Bailey Moyun. Lady Yun, Ali and I are friends who grew up together. I will not betray him. Bailey Moyun refused decisively. I am not going to deal with the Purple Cloud sect. Why would you betray him? We are preparing to enter the mystic realm. I have helped you so much, but you are still hiding the information you have. If that is the case, then forget it. Let's see who is begging who when the time comes. Yun Jioga rolled her eyes. Lady Yun, don't be angry. That is not what I mean. Let me think about it. Bailey Moyun was very clear that the two of them could follow the Een Corp sect so openly because of Yun Jioga. They really did not dare to offend her. Chapter 456. If that's not what you mean, then what do you mean? I'll tell you something else. I have a way to summon Nangong Yu's soul. It depends on your sincerity. Yun Jioga threw out another bait. Really? Bailey Moyun was surprised at first but then felt something was wrong. Then why don't you tell Ali that Aunt Yu is from the Purple Cloud sect? If you want benefits, you should go to him. I'll give you this favor, then you sell it to the Nangong family. I'll be able to kill two birds with one stone. Just tell me if you're willing. Yun Jioga transmitted his voice over until his head hurt. This Bailey Moyun was still dilly-dallying like this. How annoying. Bailey Moyun did not say anything. Although he was not a meticulous person, he was still a true core disciple of the sect. He would think twice when he encountered important matters. At this moment, Zishang suddenly transmitted to Yun Jioga. Why are you so interested in the Nangong family? Because I suddenly remembered something. Do you remember when we followed Si Yue? Didn't Nangong Li transform into Wanli Mingxian after he left? Yun Jioga still had a deep impression of that transformation technique. She was a master of disguise herself, but even after eating the illusion grass and transforming into a man, she still spoke and acted in the same manner as before. However, Nangong Li was able to completely transform into another person, which made her feel that it was very strange. That was why she wanted to inquire about it. I'll find a chance to ask Nangong Li. Zishang planned to use his demon eye to get all the information Yun Jioga wanted to know. There's no need for that. If we can find out, we'll do it. If not, then forget it. Going to the mystic realm is more important. Both Nangong Li and Wanli Mingxian were friends with Yun Jioga. He did not want to make things too awkward. Sure. Nangong Li was only a foundation establishment cultivator. Zishang could crush him with one finger. Yun Jioga was happy. Just as Yun Jioga and Zishang were transmitting, Bailey Moyun was also discussing with Nangong Li. Lady Yun wants to exchange information about your Purple Cloud sect with me. Why would she do that? Nangong Li's expression did not change, but he was extremely puzzled. I don't know. Do you think we should give her some information to deal with it? Bailey Moyun left the decision in Nangong Li's hands. He didn't want to be estranged from his best friend after a trip to the mystic realm. Give it to her. Just tell her that our Purple Cloud sect indeed knows that Aunt is with Cho Senator. The reason why we didn't bring her body back was because we were afraid of alerting the enemy. After all, Cho Sin is the only one who came out of the secret realm alive. We still have to hope that he can go in again. Although Nangong Li was very dissatisfied with the sect's method of using his aunt as bait to entice Cho Sin to work hard, his words didn't carry much weight and he couldn't change the sect's decision. Alright, I understand. Bailey Moyun received Nangong Li's approval and decisively sent a voice transmission to Yun Jioga. Alright, I'll trade with you. Actually, the Purple Cloud sect intentionally placed Aunt Yu's corpse with Cho Senator. Their goal was to make use of him. I don't think so. Yun Jioga looked straight ahead as he followed behind the crowd. His voice transmission to Bailey Moyun was full of sarcasm. You and Nangong Li discussed for half a day and came up with such information to fool me. You're too insincere. Don't expect me to help you in the future. Lady Yun, I'm not from the Purple Cloud sect. It's too difficult for me to ask for information from them. If you want information from the Limitless Sword Pavilion, I guarantee that I'll even get the Pavilion Master's sword manual for you. The Pavilion Master of the Limitless Sword Pavilion was known as the Formless Sword. The sword manual was a blank stone that contained his sword intent. Every member of the Limitless Sword Pavilion held one in their hand. Bailey Moyun had a few of them in his storage pouch. He often used them as favors and gained a lot of face. I'm not interested in your Limitless Sword Pavilion. Since you and Nangong Li are so close, you must have some guesses about Nangong Yu's matter. Yun Jioga's soft approach didn't work, so he directly used hard tactics. I'll give you one last chance. If you can't give me information that satisfies me, we'll part ways. You guys can wait and see when we get to the mystic realm. Lady Yun, don't give me face. Do you really want Xiao Tao and Xiao Ying to lose their master? Bailey Moyun begged pitifully. It's easy to get cultivators, but it's hard to get good goo. You don't have to worry about where they go. At most, you can just let them be masterless wild goo. That way they'll have more freedom. Seeing Yun Jioga's resolute attitude, Bailey Moyun was a little afraid. He glanced at the 4 golden core cultivators in front and Zishang in the middle. After thinking for a while, he finally decided to give Yun Jioga some useful information. Actually, I've always suspected that a part of Aunt Yu's soul might have returned to the Purple Cloud sect. Really? This information was completely out of Yun Jioga's expectations. A part of Nangong Yu's soul had actually returned to the Purple Cloud sect. Then why did the Purple Cloud sect hide it and not look for Chosen? Whether it was a physical body without a soul or a soul without a physical body, both were extremely dangerous. If Nangong Yu's soul could return to her physical body, it could more or less serve as a mutual nourishment. It was better than running around naked. It's just my guess, Bailey Moyun hurriedly explained. All these years, the old monsters of the Limitless Sword Pavilion had been paying a lot of attention to the Purple Cloud sect. However, even Bailey Moyun did not know the specific reason. Your conjecture is very reasonable. Do you think Nangong Li brought Nangong Yu's soul with him? If he could summon Nangong Yu's soul and ask her, many problems would be easily solved. Miss Yun, don't be rash. I'm just guessing. If Ali finds out, I'm dead. Bailey Moyun regretted that he had spoken too quickly. It would be over if he brought disaster to Ali. Don't worry, I'm just asking. If I really wanted to do anything, would the two of you still be standing here? Yun Jioga still felt like a friend to Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li. Otherwise, she would have directly tied them up and interrogated them. I know Miss Yun is loyal. Otherwise, the two of us would not have dared to follow you. Bailey Moyun hurriedly tried to curry favor. However, your sect is really strange. You actually sent 2 Foundation establishment cultivators. No matter what, you should have at least sent a golden core cultivator. Yun Jioga continued to ask. Forget it, I won't hide it from you. Actually, our sect did not only send 2 Foundation establishment cultivators. We also sent a few golden core cultivators to follow the Heavenly Fragrance sect and the Danyang sect. The 7 Ask Pavilion and the Limitless sect entered the Mystic Realm through another route. As for which route, I don't know. Bailey Moyun started to reveal his secret again. However, Yun Jioga would find out about this sooner or later. There was no need to hide it. Yun Jioga was shocked. The 6 major sects had all gone. What about the remaining 4 sects of the Devil sect? Moreover, apart from this treasure map, what other barriers could they use to enter the Mystic Realm? Things were getting more and more complicated. Chapter 457. Don't think so much, just take care of yourself. Zishang transmitted his voiceover. Oh. Yun Jioga came back to her senses and realized that she was thinking too much. She was going to the Mystic Realm to find her old subordinate Li Wei and the thing that was sealed in the Mystic Realm, not to fight with the demonic sections. She only needed to look after Nangong Li and that slut. Yun Jioga looked at Chun San Yang's swaying waist and her posture of wanting to stick to Yun Jioga. He felt like she was going blind. I say, aren't you worried that Senior Yizi will be seduced by this Chun San Yang? Bailey Moyun winked at Yun Jioga. Why, do you also think this Chun San Yang is charming? Yun Jioga asked humbly. To be honest, although she had seen countless men in her previous life, and each of them was the best of the best, those men were forced to submit to her because of her power. Most of them were dedicated, so she really didn't feel that she had any charm. Such a beautiful female demon, any male cultivator would want to have some fun with her. Not only can you improve your cultivation, but you don't have to take responsibility. Don't you demonic sects like this kind of casual marriage? Bailey Moyun chuckled. In the eyes of the righteous, demonic sects did whatever they wanted, killed whenever they wanted, slept whenever they wanted, and had no morals or shame. We are Een Corp's sect, not the Joyous Union sect. Besides, appetite and lust are human nature. Demonic sects aren't the only ones who want casual marriage. I see that you are quite interested in it. Do you want me to help you? Chun San Yang will definitely be interested in a fresh meat like you. If you sacrifice your beauty, you might even be able to rope in a backer. Yun Jioga glanced at Bailey Moyun. Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li were both young, charming and extraordinarily handsome male cultivators. They were indeed in line with the public standards. She is a gold core demonic cultivator. Why would she be interested in two brats like us? Looking at Chun Sanyang's flirting, Senior Yizi is at least in the late gold core stage. Bailey Moyun probed. This has nothing to do with cultivation, and this has nothing to do with charm. As Yun Jioga spoke, he secretly sent a voice transmission to Zishang. Don't keep that spider spirit hanging, hurry up and cut off this rotten peach blossom. Only by cutting off the spider spirit's thoughts would she be able to turn her attention to Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li, the two fresh meat. At that time, in order to protect their chastity, it would be hard for them not to rely on themselves. Sure. Zishang smiled. No one knew what he had done to Chun Sanyang. Suddenly, Chun Sanyang's face turned deathly pale. She silently took 3 steps away from Zishang. She looked at him as if she had seen a ferocious beast. What's wrong with Madame Chun? Why does she look so pale? Bailey Moyun, who was secretly observing the situation, immediately sent a voice transmission to Yun Jioga. Perhaps she realized that Yizi's bone was too hard for her to chew. Yun Jioga chuckled to himself. With Zishang's arrogant temperament, it would be strange if he took a fancy to a little spider like Chun Sanyang. Chun Sanyang quickly returned to normal, but she didn't dare to look at Zishang anymore. Instead, she turned around and floated over to Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li. Nangong Li was still cold and arrogant. He didn't even look at Chun Sanyang. Bailey Moyun happened to meet Chun Sanyang's gaze. He immediately felt as if he had fallen into a spider's hole. His scalp went numb and he really wanted to shout for help. At this moment, Ian Shirley took out a red date stone from his storage bag and said, "All right, we have already left the Ian Seoul mountain range. Let's get on the flying ship." The small date stone was carved into the shape of a flying ship. It looked very lifelike. Even the sails were swaying. Ian Shirley channeled his spiritual power into it. The date stone grew in the wind and immediately turned into a small flying ship. The red sails were fluttering in the wind. "Senior, please." Ian Shirley let Zishang go first. Zishang's figure moved and carried Yun Jioga onto the ship. Cho Sin and Chun Sanyang followed. Next was Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li. Ian Shirley was the last to board the ship. Although this small flying ship wasn't very big, it had everything. There were even a few attack turrets on the body of the ship. Its flying speed was also very fast. This kind of flying ship consumed a lot of spiritual power. However, Ian Shirley had been the sect leader of the Ian Corpse sect for so many years. He was a living corpse and didn't need spirit stones to cultivate. Hence, he had accumulated a lot of spirit stones that could be used. It will take 2 days to fly to the 100,000 mountains. All of you can meditate in your own houses. This is the house entry token. Ian Shirley gave out tokens to everyone. The Golden Core cultivators each had a room. Yun Jioga, who was a woman, also had a room. Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li shared a room. Yun Jioga took the token and entered the room. The space inside was very small and the furnishings were very simple. The defensive formation was also very weak. However, it was still considered not bad. Yun Jioga sat cross-legged on the bed. As she regulated her breathing, she checked the movements of the little white egg in her dantian. The little white egg lay quietly on the high platform in her dantian. As Yun Jioga breathed gently, she felt a sense of intimacy. Yun Jioga couldn't help but rub her stomach. There was a feeling of joy and uneasiness in her heart. It was very complicated, but she couldn't tell what was going on. "What's wrong? Is your stomach uncomfortable?" Zishang walked through the door and pulled Yun Jioga into his arms. He placed his large hand on her stomach. "I don't know why, but I keep feeling uneasy. It's empty. It's as if my feet can't touch the ground." Ever since Yun Jioga recovered the memories of her previous life, she often had this feeling. "Don't think too much. The catastrophe isn't for you alone. Even if the sky falls, I'll hold it up." Zishang patted Yun Jioga's stomach. "You don't have God's blood. How can you hold it up?" When the sky was about to fall, she had sacrificed herself to hold it up. "You only have God's blood now, but you don't have a God's body. You're no different from me." Zishang sighed. Sometimes I really hope that you haven't recovered your memories. It would be great if you were as carefree as before. How about I seal your memories? Zishang looked into Yun Jioga's eyes very seriously. Isn't that like burying one's head in the bowl? I won't do such a stupid thing. Alright, what did you say to Chun Sanyang just now? Why was she so scared? Yun Jioga asked with interest. Nothing much. I just put something in her mind so that she wouldn't dare to do anything to me. Zishang said lightly. He just put a puppet rune in Chun Sanyang's mind so that Chun Sanyang wouldn't dare to do anything to him. And at a critical moment he could connect Chun Sanyang to a puppet to protect Yun Jioga. But there was no need to let Yun Jioga know about this. I see. Yun Jioga didn't think much about it. She closed her eyes and yawned. She didn't know why, but ever since the little phoenix turned into an egg, she was very sleepy and wanted to sleep all day. Go to sleep. I'll wake you up when we get there. Zishang patted Yun Jioga's back. You stay with me. Yun Jioga hugged Zishang's waist and didn't let go. Okay, I'll stay with you. Zishang lay down with Yun Jioga. After she fell asleep, his eyes stayed on her abdomen for a long time. That egg would eventually become their child, the child of life. No, it was impossible. Yun Jioga tried her best in her previous life but couldn't succeed. How could she succeed so easily in this life? Zishang sighed and didn't dare to think about it anymore. He placed his palm on Yun Jioga's dantian and focused on helping her regulate the qi in her meridians. Chapter 458. When Yun Jioga woke up, Zishang was no longer there. A row of defensive talismans was pasted on the door, obviously left by Zishang. She stretched, pushed open the door and walked out. The flying ship stopped in the air. The milky white defensive barrier had already risen. Zishang and the rest were standing at the bow of the ship and looking down. Zhou Xian and Yin Shirley had very serious expressions. Bailey Moyun and Nan Gongli stood at the stern of the ship. When they saw Yun Jioga come out, they waved at her. Come here, come here. What are you looking at? Yun Jioga walked over and looked down. It was already dusk, the sun had already set halfway, leaving only the orange sunlight. The lush mountain range of the 100,000 mountains stretched endlessly, but the spiritual power was very thin. Occasionally, patches of gray or black miasma could be seen. It was indeed a holy land for raising venomous insects. I heard the seniors discussing that the entrance to the mystic realm was occupied by a group of Miao people, and they are discussing what to do. Bailey Moyun pointed to a piece of land in the east and said softly. Miao people? Yun Jioga opened her spirit eye and looked carefully at the place Bailey Moyun was pointing at. She saw a large patch of black gas under the lush mountain range, but it looked different from the miasma. The 100,000 mountains is the territory of the Miao people. Although the 5 poison sect is not listed in the 5 demon sects, they are considered a mid-tier sect, and their strength is not to be underestimated. If they occupy the entrance to the mystic realm, it will be difficult for us to enter without anyone noticing. Bailey Moyun's face was full of worry. He originally thought that it would be smooth sailing on the ship of Corp's sect, but he did not expect so many twists and turns. Sect Master will have a way to deal with it, we don't have to worry. Yun Jioga stole a glance at Zishang. Zishang and the others should have discussed a solution and were walking towards them. Everyone get ready, we will find a place to land first, then go and investigate. Yin Shirley's words were mainly for Yun Jioga to hear. Got it. Yun Jioga gave Zishang a look, then returned to the house to pack up. Not long after, Zishang came in. What's going on with the entrance to the mystic realm? Does the 5 poison sect also have a treasure map? Yun Jioga really did not understand. How could there be treasure maps everywhere? We still don't know if it's the 5 poison sect's problem. Zishang spread his hand and a sheepskin scroll appeared before Yun Jioga. You got it from Zhou Xian? Yun Jioga asked in surprise. Zishang nodded. He had asked Yin Shirley to get it for him. At first Zhou Xian was a little unwilling, but he did not say anything. Yun Jioga took a closer look and found that the route on the treasure map was very simple. It directly indicated that the entrance was on Goddess Mountain. Zhou Xian didn't say how to get in? Secret realms were all in another space. Finding the entrance was only the first step. The most important thing was to figure out how to enter. He said that the method of entering the mystic realm is different every time. Last time they walked to the entrance and were sucked in by themselves. But I guess he's still hiding something. Zhishang was thinking of finding a chance to use Demon Eye to get Zhou Xian to spill the beans. He must be hiding something. Right, I forgot to tell you. Bailey Moyun suspects that a part of Nangong Yu's soul has returned to the Purple Cloud sect. How about we use this information to make an exchange with him? Yun Jioga did not want to use violence against a problem that could be solved through peaceful negotiation. We can make use of this when the time is right. Zhishang nodded. Using Demon Eye on a Golden Core cultivator required a lot of demonic power. It would be good to save it. We can go find Jun Yichen and Luo Tian to ask about the situation. I wonder if Fei Fei can find them. Yun Jioga summoned Fei Fei. The black and white butterfly danced around her. Life Chi and Death Chi alternated between its wings. Fei Fei, let's go down and find Lil Red and the Natal Goo later, okay? Yun Jioga threw a cherry pill to it. No problem. Leave it to me. Fei Fei swallowed the cherry pill and promised sweetly. It's too conspicuous like this. I'll seal its reincarnation power first to prevent others from discovering it. If you want to remove the seal, you just have to feed it a drop of blood. Zhishang raised his hand and pointed at Fei Fei. A purple light covered Fei Fei's body and sealed the life chi circulating in its wings. Its black and white wings also turned gray, making it look like a moth. Sob sob sob, it's too ugly. Fei Fei landed on Yun Jioga's shoulder sadly. Couldn't accept being so ugly. It's okay. It's just ugly for a few days. I'll help you remove the seal later. Yun Jioga patted Fei Fei's head and comforted it. Sister's blood is good stuff. You won't lose anything. All right. Fei Fei had to admit that its master's blood was delicious. Lady Yun, we're here. Bailey Moyun's shout came from the door. Hurry up and leave. Don't let Chun Sanyang see you. Yun Jioga pushed Zhishang out and left the house as if nothing had happened. The flying ship landed on a small open space. The ancient trees above blocked the sunlight. It was very dark. Yun Jioga got off the flying ship and stood with Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li. Zhishang stood opposite her. Yin Shirley stood beside him. He waved his hand and kept the flying ship. He said, let's go to the entrance and see if the people from 5 Poison Sect have occupied the place. What do you think? Sure. Zhishang nodded. I'll lead the way. Chun Sanyang stole a glance at Zhishang. Chun Sanyang is the most familiar with this place. Following her will save us a lot of trouble. Although Yin Shirley did not know what had happened, he knew that Chun Sanyang was afraid of Zhishang like a mouse seeing a cat. If Zhishang wanted to target Chun Sanyang, he would be stuck in the middle and would not know what to do. That was why he wanted to put in a good word for Chun Sanyang. Let's go. Zhishang did not say anything else. Chun Sanyang recognized Zhishang's approval and was very excited. She took out a white ball the size of a fist from her storage bag and threw it on the ground. The white ball automatically rolled forward, leaving a white light to guide the group. Yun Jioga and the rest followed the white light. They did not encounter any danger along the way, nor did they encounter any miasma or poisonous gas. Soon they arrived at Lady Goddess Mountain. Lady Goddess Mountain looked like a beautiful woman with her head lowered. At the foot of the mountain there was a row of ramparts. They were all built with hard pine wood that was as tall as 2 people. On top of the ramparts, there were rows of people dressed in Miao clothes patrolling. Every one of them had a colorful goo worm on their body. Looking up, there were many stilt buildings stacked on top of each other. The oil lamps were especially eye-catching in the dark night. It is indeed the 5 Poison Sect. Moreover, they are the elites of the sect. Chosun stood on a big tree and looked down. Although their Een Corp sect was not afraid of the 5 Poison Sect, they had hidden this from the sect. If the sect master went back to mobilize troops, the entire demon sect would know the location of the mystic realm. At that time, everyone would definitely want a share of the loot. Chapter 459. Those wooden doors are filled with parasite eggs. If we don't have a special way to avoid them, we'll be devoured the moment we get close. Yun Jioga had been raising parasites for so long he knew them like the back of his hand. There's no need for us to fight 5 venoms head-on. Let's first ask their sect leader if he knows where the mystic realm is. If he knows, we'll use the sect's power to threaten them and get a share. If he doesn't know, we'll think of another way. Ian Shirley was indeed a sect leader for so many years, he immediately thought of a solution. That's a good idea. Zishang agreed. Why don't I go find 5 Venom's sect leader with Ian Shirley? I have some ties with him, Chun Sanyong suggested. Ian Shirley and Chun Sanyong go find 5 Venom's sect leader. Cho Sin, Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li stay here, Zishang said. Yes. Ian Shirley and Chun Sanyong answered in unison, then left the tree. Let's go. Zishang transmitted to Yun Jioga. To where? Yun Jioga didn't understand. To find Juni Chen and the others. Zishang landed beside Yun Jioga from the top of the tree. What about them? Yun Jioga looked at Bailey Moyun and Nangong Li who were standing on their own trees. Just leave them here to watch. Cho Sin won't do anything to them for Nangong Yu's sake. Zishang pulled Yun Jioga's hand and left. Cho Sin only glanced at them without saying anything. Zishang brought Yun Jioga about 5 kilometers away from Lady Mountain before saying, "Let Fei Fei out." Yun Jioga let Fei Fei out. The dusty little moth circled around her unhappily. It only became happy after eating 2 cherry pills. Go find Lil Red and the natal parasite, Yun Jioga instructed. Fei Fei flapped its wings, flew up a little, then flew forward. Yun Jioga and Zishang followed closely behind Fei Fei. After about 5 kilometers they realized something was wrong. Aren't we going to Lady Mountain? I feel that Lil Red and the natal parasite are in that mountain. There seems to be something inside. I want to go in. Fei Fei flew up and down, wanting to rush in with Yun Jioga. Wait. Yun Jioga grabbed Fei Fei and looked at Zishang. Could it be that Jun Yichen and Luo Tian have joined the 5 Venom sect? I'm not sure. Let's wait for Ian Shirley to return first. However, if Jun Yichen and the others really joined the 5 Poison sect, it would be a good thing for us. Zishang trusted those 2 people. Yun Jioga nodded, but for some reason he felt that something was wrong. Fei Fei was still making a fuss about going to Goddess Mountain, but Yun Jioga directly stuffed it back into the spirit beast bag. Let's go find Cho Sin and the others first. Zishang brought Yun Jioga back to the tree where they had been monitoring the goddess. However, he discovered that Cho Sin, Bailey Moyun, Nangong Li and the others had all disappeared. Where is he? Where did he go? Yun Jioga and the others had only been gone for less than 2 hours. Even if the 3 of them had something to do and had to leave, they should have sent them a communication talisman. I can't contact him. Zishang crushed the communication talisman in his hand and began to carefully examine the few trees they had been squatting on. Finally, he found a bit of transparent mucus on the bark of one of the trees. This is a hypnotic spirit-severing worm. They should have been captured by the 5 Poison sect. If it was only Nangong Li and Bailey Moyun who were captured, it would have been fine. But Cho Sin is a golden core cultivator. Even he was captured and there was no sign of a fight. The enemy is too powerful. Only a nascent soul cultivator can capture a golden core cultivator without a trace. Zishang's expression was solemn. Although he had recovered his demon heart, it was still not easy to deal with a nascent soul cultivator. There are nascent soul cultivators in the 100,000 mountains? Yun Jioga was surprised. Didn't they say that nascent soul cultivators were either in seclusion or strolling in places with more spiritual power? This is the entrance to the mystic realm after all. There might be something special about it. However, if it's like this, I'm afraid Ian Shirley and the others are in danger. Zishang sent a voice transmission talisman to Ian Shirley. There was no reply. As expected, he had also been killed. Why don't we go to Goddess Mountain to take a look? Yun Jioga looked at the distant Goddess Mountain. She didn't know if it was her misconception, but she felt that the woman who was lowering her head seemed to be smiling. Go. Zishang was about to draw a concealment talisman on Yun Jioga's body, but she stopped him. There's no need for you. Golden light flashed on Yun Jioga's body. Runes naturally appeared and she became invisible. Don't use divine power. Zishang frowned. Now was not the time to show off. It's fine if I draw divine power into my spiritual power and mix it. Yun Jioga felt that she was simply too smart. If she used spiritual power alone, she would only be a foundation establishment trash. However, if she used divine power, she would be able to reach golden core cultivation. Be careful. Zishang was still worried. Divine power was a unique power in the Blue Waves continent. If those people knew about it, it would cause great trouble. I know. Sco. If we are late, they might be skinned and their bones torn apart. Yunjioge pushed Zishang towards Goddess Mountain. The two of them stealthily passed through the wooden fort. Then they hid in the shadows and passed through layer after layer of stilt buildings. Yunjioge carefully sized up the people coming and going. They were all Miao people. They were wearing colorful clothes and there were all kinds of venomous insects on their shoulders and arms. However, the expression of these Miao people was somewhat sluggish. They didn't seem very smart. However, those venomous insects were very powerful. Each of them had their own specialties. If Yunjioge hadn't used divine power to conceal herself, she might have been discovered very quickly. Did you find Jun Yichen and Luo Tian? Yunjioge quietly asked. No, they are not here. Zhou Xian and Nangong Li are also not here. Zishang shook his head. His divine sense had already swept through this stilt building. However, he didn't find any trace. Wait, let me ask Fei Fei. Yunjioge secretly released Fei Fei. The gray little moth excitedly flapped its wings and shouted towards the summit of Goddess Mountain. There is good stuff there. Little red and life venomous insect are all there. On the summit of Goddess Mountain there was a temple built with mountain rocks. The faint candlelight was very obvious in the dark night. However, it gave a feeling as if it was far away in the horizon. It seems Zhou Xian and Nangong Li should have been captured and brought to that temple. Zishang shifted his gaze towards that temple. His divine sense also spread over there. Yunjioge also opened his spirit eye and looked carefully. However, he discovered that there was a young girl inside that temple. She was nodding her head. As if she sensed someone was spying on her, she turned her head and looked towards Yunjioge. She suddenly smiled sweetly and stretched out her hand as if she wanted to greet Yunjioge. However, it also seemed as if she wanted to grab something. Chapter 460. Not good. Zishang suddenly grabbed Yunjioge and turned to run out of the mountain. The two of them moved as fast as lightning and in less than 3 breaths of time, they had left the vicinity of Goddess Mountain. Yunjioge turned back to look. Goddess Mountain was still unmoving and there were no changes. There is something spying on us in the temple. I have no way of getting close to her. Zishang's expression was serious. If they hadn't run fast, they would have had a big fight with that thing. Could it be that nascent soul cultivator? Yunjioge felt uncomfortable just thinking about that hazy woman. Not sure. Before he understood the relationship between the temple and the 5 poison sect, he did not want to alert them. Why don't we capture someone to interrogate him? But I've taken a closer look just now. The people living in the stilt houses are all normal Miao people. They look dull and don't look like they know what's going on. Yunjioge recalled the dull eyes of the Miao people. If it wasn't for the thick life energy on them, they would be no different from Yin corpses. Let's leave Goddess Mountain for now and go to the 5 poison sect. Yin Shirley's cultivation is higher than Zhou Xian and the rest. If he is captured, he should be able to leave behind some clues. Zishang quickly made his decision. How do you know where the 5 poison sect is? Yunjioge asked. I don't know, but I should know this. Zishang flipped his palm and Chun Sanyang's white ball appeared in his hand. When did you get it? Yunjioge was shocked. Wasn't this Chun Sanyang's ball? She has 2, give me 1. Zishang threw the white ball on the ground and ordered, go find your master. The white ball rolled forward. Zishang grabbed Yunjioge's hand and followed the white ball through many twists and turns. Finally, they arrived at an extraordinary tall building. There were 5 stone statues on both sides of the gray door. They were a scorpion, a centipede, a poisonous snake, a toad and a spider. Follow me closely, don't touch their array. Zishang said softly. Yunjioge opened his spiritual eye and found that the 5 poison sects array was also multicolored and covered the entire mountain. This array was much stronger than the one on Goddess Mountain. Zishang sent out a purple demonic aura to open up a path in front of him. Yunjioge followed closely behind him, looking left and right from time to time. However, along the way they did not find any trace of a single disciple. The entire 5 poison sect was like a graveyard. This is too strange. Yunjioge leaned closer to Zishang. He was panicking. It's better if it's weird. Look around, there are still traces of people left behind. This means that there were people here just now but they suddenly disappeared. Zishang waved his hand and shot out a cloud of purple mist. As expected, the smooth and flat ground showed signs of people walking around. Then where did they go? Could it be that the Empress Mountain has sent a message to capture us? Wouldn't we be walking right into their trap? Yunjioge wanted to retreat. What's there to be afraid of? I was just about to catch the person who cast the net. Zishang wasn't afraid of traps, but of not having any clues. They had just entered Miaojiang and everything was strange. If he did not figure it out, he would not dare to bring Yunjioge into the mystic realm. All right. Yunjioge thought about the whereabouts of Zhou Xian and Junichen's goo worms, and decided to take the risk. The 5 poison sects dark corridor was filled with the portraits of all sorts of poisonous creatures and Miao people. All of them were staring at Yunjioge and Zishang, the 2 intruders. Yunjioge realized that they were still at the same spot after walking a few rounds in the corridor. However, when he opened his spiritual eye, he could not see any traces of an array. Zishang muttered to himself for a moment, then took out Chun Sanyang's ball. The white ball landed on the ground and rolled outwards. However, it was bounced back by a wall. The white ball continued to roll towards that wall. Zishang kept the white ball and injected his demonic energy into it. The ball was ignited with a purple flame. Within the flame, a pair of small spider eyes could be seen. They were thin and long, and there were even countless of limbs growing out from the bottom. Go! Zishang threw the small blazing spider out. The small spider landed on the ground and fiercely crashed into the wall. With a loud bang, the wall collapsed and shattered into countless pieces. Behind the wall was a spacious and imposing hall. On the left and right were 2 rows of simple but imposing gray stone chairs. At the very top was a spacious throne, which was engraved with images of poisonous creatures. This was the hall where the 5 poison sect received their guests. After the small blazing spider jumped onto the second stone chair on the left, it turned back into the white ball. It seemed like Chun Sanyang had indeed been here. Yunjioge opened his spiritual eye and saw that the hall was filled with all sorts of sculptures. They were all images of Miao people holding goo worms in their hands. It was indescribably strange. Zishang walked to the front of the throne and stretched out his hand to brush the surface of the chair. However, he did not leave any marks. Did you see anything? Yunjioge walked to Zishang's side and asked. No. Zishang turned around and looked around. Suddenly his eyebrows twitched. Yunjioge looked over and realized that he was looking at a stone statue in the corner. Because of the lighting, its appearance was blurry. Yunjioge opened his spiritual eye and took a closer look. He realized that it was a stone statue of a black spider. It was much bigger than the other stone statues. Moreover, there was a human face carved on the back of the spider. It was a frightened head. Because the expression was too exaggerated and distorted, Yunjioge could not tell who it was. He could only vaguely tell that it was a woman. Zishang hooked his hand and the white ball jumped into his hand. Can you recognize who this is? Zishang said as he placed the white ball in front of the stone statue. The white ball swayed left and right. Then it tried to stretch out a white thread and stuck it on the face of the stone statue. Kiji. The white ball seemed to explode as countless white threads pounced over. Some of them were even dripping down like a woman crying. This stone statue is Chun Sanyang. Zishang quickly scanned the hall before pointing to the tallest stone statue in the middle. That is the 5 poison sects leader. Yunjioge looked over. It was a tall and mighty stone statue of a middle-aged man. He had a spider on his head, a poisonous snake on his left hand and a toad on his right. He was stepping on a scorpion and a centipede respectively. Are they dead? Yunjioge wanted to touch the stone statue. However, he was stopped by Zishang. We are not sure what happened. Don't touch it. Then what do we do now? They had found them, but they had turned into stone statues that could not speak. There was nothing they could ask. I did not see Ian Shirley. It is possible that he escaped. Let's leave this place first. Zishang waved his hand and called the white ball back. The white ball left its owner unwillingly. Then it slowly retracted the thread that was stuck on the stone statue. Yunjioge's sharp eyes noticed a gray flash at the end of the thread. He immediately stretched out his hand and sent the ball flying. Chapter 461. The white ball rolled on the ground. In an instant, the gray dot at the end of the ball immediately spread out, and the string ball immediately turned into a stone ball. Yunjioge pulled Zishang back a few steps. When he looked up, the wall was already shining with gray light and was approaching them. "Let's go." Zishang grabbed Yunjioge and charged out, passing through the hole in the wall and arriving at the corridor. He found that the originally empty corridor was filled with stone statues. Roar, roar, roar. Those gray stone statues roared as they approached Yunjioge. Zishang stretched out his hand and condensed a spear made of demonic power, stabbing it. The stone statue instantly shattered but soon reformed. At the same time, the wall started to crumble as countless gray stone statue goo worms spewed out gray smoke. Yunjioge set up a defensive barrier that was infused with divine power, isolating the gray smoke. Zishang charged towards the door with an indomitable will, but the stone statues increased in number and squeezed together. He could not move an inch. The entire Five Venoms sect seemed to have awakened as more and more stone statues joined in. Zishang broke a pile of stone statues and was immediately drowned by another pile. It was impossible to fly and escape. The sky was already occupied by flying goo worms, covering the sky. In the hall behind him, the Five Venoms sect leader had also awakened and was roaring angrily and viciously. "Follow me closely and charge out when the opportunity arises." Zishang saw that the situation was amiss and decided to use a big move. "I got it." Yunjioge put on his flying thunder wings and stood behind Zishang, gathering his spirit energy. Zishang injected demonic power into his spear and shot towards the door. The violent demonic power tore all the obstacles it encountered into pieces. Yunjioge used this opening to escape the whirlpool and arrive near the door. With a cracking sound, the 5 poisonous creatures at the door started to revive and were about to pounce at Yunjioge. At this moment, a gray cold aura spewed out from the southeast corner and froze the 5 poisonous creatures. An ugly woman with white hair and black skin stood at the southeast corner and waved at Yunjioge. Yunjioge charged towards her without hesitation. Zishang, who was at the rear, swung his spear and shattered the pursuing stone statue before following Yunjioge. The 5 poisons, who had broken free from the cold aura, let out angry roars. After circling around the area once, they could only return to the entrance unwillingly. The entire Five Venoms sect returned to its initial silence. "Are you all right?" Zishang looked at Yunjioge nervously. "I'm fine." Yunjioge shook his head and turned to look at the woman who had helped them. He was shocked. "Yunji, why are you here? Why aren't you by Yiyu's side?" This ugly woman with white hair and black skin was the living corpse Yiyunji. Yiyunji did not respond to Yunjioge's question. Instead, she turned around and continued to float forward. Yunjioge followed closely behind her and entered the dense forest. After a few turns, they came to a swamp where gray miasma filled the air. Yiyunji stood still at the edge of the swamp. Many Miao people's figures appeared on the surrounding trees, all holding black crossbows aimed at them. The purplish-black arrowheads glinted with poisonous light. "Who are you? Why have you come to the 5 Poison sect?" A pretty girl with exquisite facial features appeared in front of Yunjioge, stepping on a colorful butterfly. She wore a red dress with circles of black patterns woven from goose silk. She wore a silver bullhorn headdress on her head. Her cultivation level was at the early stage of foundation establishment. "And who are you? Where did you get this living corpse?" Yunjioge's expression turned even colder. Yiyunji had actually come out alone. "Did something happen to Yiyu? Why, you recognize this living corpse?" The pretty girl raised her eyebrows and asked. "This is a gift from me to a friend." Yunjioge once had the chance to subdue Yiyunji. However, he had given up on it. So it was right to say that she had given it to Yiyu. "Liar, how could this be a gift from you? Fire your arrows and take her down." The pretty girl's expression changed instantly. At her command, the Miao tribesmen who were lying in ambush shot out black arrows towards Yunjioge. Zishang reached out to collect the arrows and shot them back at the Miao people. Plop, plop, plop. The Miao people all fell from the trees and fell unconscious. The pretty girl's expression changed drastically. She flipped her hand and took out a bronze corpse control bell. She shook it forcefully and then ordered Yiyunji, "Capture them." Yiyunji's body swayed, but she did not move. "Hurry." The pretty girl swayed even more violently. The bell rang and Yi Yunji's body kept swaying, but she did not attack Yunjioga according to her orders. The pretty girl was so angry that she almost smashed the corpse control bell. She stepped on the colorful butterfly beneath her feet and countless goo worms crawled out, surrounding the entire swamp. Yunjioga flapped his thunderstorm wings and his figure flashed past the goo worms to appear in front of the pretty girl. The pretty girl pinched her fingers and the bullhead headdress flew up to fight with Yunjioga. Yunjioga used his evil saber to attack but was sent flying by the bullhead. "You're only at the early stage of foundation establishment and you dare to fight me?" The pretty girl sneered and wanted to take Yunjioga down. As Yunjioga dodged backwards, his fingers moved slightly. Thunderfire needles silently appeared and pierced into a few major acupoints on the girl's body. The pretty girl found that she had been hit and wanted to run, but she was already caught by Zhishang, who was waiting on the side. "It's useless even if you kill me." The pretty girl angrily glared at Yunjioga. "I don't want to kill you, I just want to ask you where you got this corpse control bell and how you know how to control her." Yunjioga took the corpse control bell from the pretty girl's hand and gently shook it. Yunji floated to her side. "How can you control her?" The pretty girl's eyes popped out. This corpse control technique was something she had pestered her elder sister to obtain. Her elder sister gave her the corpse control bell to give her an extra layer of protection. But this corpse did not listen to her at all. As soon as it came out, it slipped away and didn't listen to her when it came back. "I'm the one asking you now." Yunjioga shook the bell again and Yi Yunji came over to hold the young girl down. "Hey, ugly monster, be clear about who's with you." The young girl angrily roared at Yi Yunji. Yi Yunji did not move. "Who are you calling ugly monster?" Yunjioga's anger came out. Yi Yunji was Yi Yu's elder sister, but she was actually being controlled by a little girl who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth and was even calling her ugly monster. Even if Yi Yunji didn't have any self-awareness, she still couldn't accept this kind of insult. "I'm not talking about you." The pretty girl did not have any thoughts of being a prisoner at all. She still had an expression of, "You don't dare do anything to this old lady." Yunjioga really wanted to beat her up, but he didn't dare act rashly before understanding her. "What's your name?" Zhishang spoke. His indifferent eyes split into three and turned like a kaleidoscope. Chapter 462. The pretty girl looked at Zhishang's demon eyes and couldn't help saying, "I'm called Wuya. I'm the daughter of the 5 poison sect master. My big sister told me to bring some people to watch over the 5 poison sect." "Who is your big sister and where did you get this corpse from?" Zhishang asked. "My big sister is Wu Lan and this corpse is brother Yi Yu's. He is currently heavily injured and was sealed. Before he was sealed he gave this corpse to my big sister to use." Wuya said. "Yi was injured?" Yunjioga was shocked and couldn't help asking, "What kind of injury did Yi Yu receive? Is it serious?" "He was cursed and half his body turned into stone. He can only rely on the seal to alleviate it." Wuya continued to say. "Why was he cursed and where did the power of the curse come from?" Yunjioga's eyes were fierce as he continued to ask. "I don't know where the power of the curse came from. Big sister Wulan and I went out to do some things and when we came back we found that father and the people had all turned into stone. It was brother Yi Yu who saved us, but he was also infected with the power of the curse." Wuya's voice was low and her face was filled with pain. "Bring us to find Yi Yu," Zhishang ordered. Wuya led the way. Zhishang and Yunjioga followed her through the swamp and after several turns, they arrived at a flat valley. The valley was like Goddess Mountain. It was surrounded by pine trees and there were several defensive arrays behind it. The valley was filled with stilt houses and there were many normal Miao people living in it. There were several black figures flying in the sky and the patrolling soldiers on them saw Wuya coming alone with 2 strangers. They immediately sounded the alarm. The entire valley was like boiling water. The normal Miao people all retreated into the caves. The Miao people with cultivation bases formed small teams and hid behind the buildings in the valley, ready to attack at any time. "Call Wu Lan out." Yunjioga's cold voice spread throughout the valley. Because of Wu Ye's attitude towards Yi Yunji, she did not have any good feelings towards this Wu Lan that she had never met before. Not long after, a giant black eagle appeared in the sky above the valley. On top of it stood an early gold core stage, a valiant-looking woman. Her skin was the color of wheat and her eyes were wild. Her hair was tied up high and she was dressed in black men's clothing. She looked like a decisive woman. "Who are you? Why are you attacking my little sister?" When Wu Lan saw the corpse control bell in Yun Jioga's hand and Yi Yunji, who was holding on to Wu Lan, her expression became very serious. "I am Yi Yu's friend. It was your sister who attacked us first," Yun Jioga replied coldly. "What proof do you have that you are Yi Yu's friend?" Black Orchid raised her slender eyebrows. "Do you think this can prove it?" Yun Jioga smirked and suddenly shook the corpse control bell. Yi Yunji let go of Wu Lan and disappeared from where she was like a ghost. She then appeared in front of Wu Lan, her fingers stabbing towards her chest like knives. Black Orchid raised her hand to block, but was invaded by Yi Yunji's cold qi. She hurriedly used her spiritual power to expel the cold air, and the black eagle beneath her opened its mouth to spit out several green wind blades towards Yi Yunji. Yun Jioga waved her hand, and Yi Yunji returned to her side. "Is this proof enough?" Yun Jioga asked calmly. "It's enough, but I didn't know that Yi Yu had this kind of friend. He's even more skilled at controlling the scene corpse than he is." Black Orchid's seemingly straightforward words were actually filled with probing. "You don't know because you're not familiar enough with him." Yun Jioga gave a mocking smile. "Miss, do you have some sort of misunderstanding towards me?" Black Orchid knit her brows, not understanding how she had offended this person. "You're thinking too much. I want to see Yi Yu. Can you lead the way?" Yun Jioga did not want to talk about Yi Yunji. "Of course, but shouldn't you put my sister down first?" Black Orchid sent the black eagle in front of Yun Jioga. "There's no rush, let's see Yi Yu first." Yun Jioga gave a fake smile. This Black Orchid did not care about Yi Yunji, who knew how she treated Yi Yu. "It seems like you really care about Yi Yu, then come with me." Black Orchid did not look at her sister anymore, sending the black eagle flying into the valley. Yun Jioga took out the evil blade and stepped on it with Zishang. Yi Yunji carried Wuya and flew through the air, following beside them. "Right, I haven't asked for your names yet." Black Orchid asked with a smile. "My surname is Yun." Yun Jioga had no intention of introducing Zishang at all. "So it's Miss Yun." Black Orchid did not ask any further. "I heard that your Five Venoms sect has been cursed?" Yun Jioga asked from the air. "Yes, right now the valley is filled with the believers who went out with me on the mission as well as their families." Black Orchid answered without hesitation. "Where did the curse come from?" Yun Jioga asked again. "I don't know." Black Orchid shook her head, her face full of worry. Yun Jioga was about to ask if it had anything to do with Goddess Mountain, but Zishang stopped her. "There's no rush, we can talk about this after we see Yi Yu." "You're right." Yun Jioga exhaled, calmed down and did not ask any further. Black Orchid's black eagle landed on the tallest three-story building in the valley. This building was built entirely out of black stone, exuding an icy aura from the inside out. "This is an ice stone I dug out from the land of frost years ago. It has a special effect on suppressing the curse." Black Orchid got off the black eagle and walked towards the building. Yun Jioga followed behind her and saw black coffins covered in runes placed on the walls inside. The coffins had no lids and he could clearly see the half-petrified Miao people inside. Some of the Miao people had already turned into stone statues. Only their heads were still humanoid, their eyes tightly shut as they lay inside the stone coffins. "These are all people who were cursed in the past. I sealed them here in hopes that one day I would find a way to remove the curse." Black Orchid's expression was pained. These were all her most loyal guards, but now they could only be sealed here. "I've been to your Five Venoms sect and saw the petrified cult master. His cultivation doesn't seem to have disappeared." Yun Jioga looked at Black Orchid. "After those who are cursed are turned into stone statues, they will be controlled by a mysterious power to attack us. If we are injured by them we will be infected. Father doesn't remember us at all now." Black Orchid's heart ached at the thought of her father. She let out a long sigh and pulled herself together, asking Yun Jioga, "What business does Miss Yun have in the 100,000 mountains?" "I rushed here because I received Yi Yu's letter for help." "Where's he now?" Yun Jioga spoke empty words. "He's on the top floor." Black Orchid clearly did not believe him, but she did not ask any further and led Yun Jioga and the others up. The stone statues of the Miao people on the second floor were lighter than the first and there were fewer of them. When they reached the third floor they saw a black coffin placed right in the middle. Yiyu lay calmly in the coffin. Chapter 463. Yun Jioge looked carefully and found that there were no major wounds on Yiyu's body. It was just that everything from his thighs down had turned into gray stone. When Yi Yunji saw Yiyu, she immediately threw Wuxia to the ground and floated to Yiyu's side to protect him. What is your relationship with Yiyu? Yun Jioge was truly worried that Yiyu and Black Orchid were having an affair. In the past it was Lu Yunfei and now it was Wu Lan. His taste in women was just too bad. Yiyu and I only met by chance. When we were trapped in the 5 poison sect and were about to be annihilated, it was Yiyu who brought his own corpses and brought us out of there. He is the benefactor of our 5 poison sect. Wu Lan said as she looked at Yiyu. Since he is your benefactor, why are you ordering his own corpses around like little soldiers? Yun Jioge asked without any politeness. Miss, I think you have misunderstood. First, this own corpse is not Yiyu's life source own corpse. I have already asked him about this. Second, I did not treat this own corpse as a little soldier that I could order around. Before Yiyu was sealed he gave this own corpse to me and let me take this own corpse to find a way to break the curse. It wasn't convenient for me to patrol the base, so I could only let my little sister run errands outside. I was afraid something would happen to her so I gave this own corpse to her to protect herself. In order to find a way to remove the power of Yiyu's curse, we couldn't sleep at night and ran all over the place. Yiyu and the people on the first floor were cursed at the same time, but the curse has only spread to his legs. We've also paid a huge price. Wu Lan was still complaining, but she was coldly interrupted by Yun Jioge. Since you gave Yiyu's own corpse to your little sister, you should teach her what respect is. My little sister is young, sometimes she doesn't pay attention to what she says. I hope you won't lower yourself to her level. Wu Lan also knew her little sister's character. She had always thought that this own corpse was ugly, but she never thought that it would offend someone. Before Yiyu wakes up, this own corpse is under my care. Yun Jioge lightly said. Of course. Wu Lan's heart was uncomfortable, but the own corpse was already under Yun Jioge's control, so she couldn't do anything about it. Excuse me, I want to be alone with Yiyu for a while. Yun Jioge wanted to give Yiyu a detailed examination, but it was really inconvenient for Black Orchid to be present. Alright, I'll be waiting for you on the first floor. Just give me a shout if you need anything. Black Orchid nodded considerately, and when she turned to leave she didn't let Wuxia go along with her. This woman is not simple. She knows when to yield and when to stand tall, Xianxia said indifferently. Yun Jioge's cultivation base was only at the early stage of the foundation establishment realm, but Wu Lan, a golden core cultivator, was extremely polite to her. It was truly rare. I thought she did it because of you? Yun Jioge was already used to the courtesy of a golden core cultivator. I hid my aura just now so she didn't notice me. Xianxia was in a semi-invisible state just now. Now that you mention it, I also feel that this Wu Lan is very scheming. It seems that we need to be careful when dealing with her. Yun Jioge nodded, then went to the side of the sarcophagus to look at Yiyu. At this time Yiyu's cultivation level was already close to the middle stage of foundation establishment, but because of the power of the curse, the spiritual energy in his dantian was completely stagnant. Xianxia, what do you think this power of the curse is? Yun Jioge opened her spiritual eye, and only saw a ball of sticky gray liquid tightly blocking Yiyu's lower limbs. I've never seen power like this before. Xianxia shook his head. He wanted to pull some out to inspect, but he was worried that it would affect Yun Jioge. Yun Jioge had the same concern. This power of the curse of unknown origin was like an extremely infectious virus. Before she had prepared her defenses she didn't dare to touch it. But Yiyu's power is spreading a little slowly. Yun Jioge thought of the petrified Miao people on the first and second floor. They had been cursed for a shorter period of time than Yiyu, but their speed was much faster. As for Black Orchid's bullshit about them paying a huge price, she didn't believe a single one of her fingers. At this time, Yi Yunji suddenly stood up, and placed her palm on Yiyu's leg. Pure cold yin qi entered his legs and the gray power of the curse retreated slightly. I see. Yun Jioge realized. Yi Yunji had a yin spirit physique, and the Yin spirit chi in her body could actually stop the power of the curse from spreading. Then would her divine power have the same effect? Your divine power has no problem dealing with this bit of power of the curse, but you can't use it here. Zhishang saw through Yunjioga's thoughts. I'm not that stupid. If she removed the power of the curse in Yiyu's body, then Black Orchid would definitely ask her to help remove the Miao people on the first and second floor, including the people from the 5 poison cult. If this was a normal time, saving people was not a big deal. But her most important mission this time was to find the entrance to the secret realm, and find clues about Li Wei and the catastrophe. She didn't have the extra energy to be a good person. And she didn't know what was going on with Zhou Xian and Juni Chen. Her divine power was limited and she had to take it easy. First floor of the ice building. After Black Orchid woke her sister up, she was questioning her about Yunjioga with a straight face. I don't know where she came from. Wuya said with a wronged expression, the Yin corpse you gave me wasn't useful at all. I had her patrol the surroundings, but who would have thought she would go to the 5 poison cult and lead those 2 people over? Black Orchid asked and asked, but she couldn't get any clues about Yunjioga's group from her sister's mouth, so she changed the topic. What did you do to that Yin corpse? Why were they so angry? I didn't do anything. Wuya had a sullen expression. Didn't she just call that Yin corpse ugly? What was wrong with that? You better pay attention in the future. This is Yiyu's Yin corpse after all, it's not your goo. Black Orchid snappily said. I know, sister, you have to be careful of those 2 people, especially that girl, she's very strong. Don't think that she's only at the Foundation establishment realm, she's very hidden. She subdued me in one move, I still don't know how I fell. Wuya said in a worried voice. Your rainbow butterfly goo and bullhead goo are useless against her? Black Orchid raised her eyebrows. Although her little sister was disappointing, she had refined goo since she was young. Normal early Foundation establishment realm cultivators wouldn't be able to take advantage of her. It's useless, she's not afraid of those goo at all. Wuya shook her head. Her invincible goo were even a bit afraid of that girl. It's good that she's strong. No matter what, she's Yiyu's friend, so she's our friend. Black Orchid was lacking people to help, having a strong person was better than having trash. Chapter 464. Right, how is Big Brother Yiyu? Is he feeling better? Have you found the reason why he's stopping the curse from spreading? Wuya glanced at the 3rd floor of the building and asked in a low voice. No. Black Orchid shook her head, her gaze sweeping across the sealed parishioners. The people sealed in this building were all parishioners who had decent cultivation bases and were loyal to her. These believers were cursed at the same time as Yiyu, but the power of the curse stayed on his legs and was slowly fading away. However, many of her believers were completely petrified and had been thrown into the cellar to be sealed. During this time she had been observing Yiyu's condition day and night. She had even secretly obtained some of his blood for examination, but he was no different from the other believers. If she could find the secret behind it, the 5 poison sect might be saved. Sister, don't be discouraged. We will definitely find a way to save Father and the believers. Wuya comforted her sister. Alright, you don't have to worry about things here. Hurry up and bring some people to the swamp to get the poison believers back. I'll go up and see how their discussion is going. Wu Lan sent her worried sister away and walked up to the 3rd floor. By then Yunjioga had finished examining Yiyu and was just in time to see Wu Lan when he opened the door. Miss Wu Lan, you've come at the right time. I wanted to discuss something with you. Yunjioga said lightly. Miss Yun, please speak. Wu Lan smiled. I want to take Yiyu away. Yunjioga said directly. Wu Lan was stunned and asked hurriedly, why? Did we fail you in some way? No, I just want to take him away from the 100,000 mountains and find a friend to see if they can undo the curse on him. This was the excuse Yunjioga and Zhishang had come up with after discussion. Miss Yun, you might not know this, but those who are cursed will immediately turn to dust once they leave the 100,000 mountains, Wu Lan said seriously. I've already done experiments. Even those who have stayed in the 5 poison sect for a long time will turn to dust once they leave the 100,000 mountains, much less those who have already started petrifying. In other words, you might already be infected with the curse, but it has not started acting up yet. If you leave now, you might die. There's such a thing? Yunjioga had not expected the power of the curse to be so overbearing. It was even scarier than the plague. Miss Yun, these ice stones can suppress the power of the curse. We usually go out for too long, and when we come back we will meditate here. I dare say that there is no better place in the 100,000 mountains than here. Moreover, we owe you a debt of gratitude, so I cannot just watch you bring him into danger. Wu Lan advised earnestly. Why don't we stay and observe the situation first? Yun Jioge looked at Zishang. They had a common enemy with Black Orchid, so there was no need to make things so tense. Up to you. Zishang was indifferent. That's right, why didn't you let me ask her about the goddess mountain just now? Yun Jioge asked via voice transmission. Wait for her to ask herself. Trust me, she's definitely more anxious than we are, Zishang said meaningfully. All right. Yun Jioge felt that Zishang was more black-bellied than him, so it was definitely the right choice to listen to him. Miss Yun, what do you think? After speaking for a long time, Black Orchid saw that Yun Jioge did not respond at all and felt a little uncertain. We'll talk about this later. What I'm curious about is, Miss Wu, you've been investigating the power of the curse for so long, don't you have any clues at all? Yun Jioge asked. You won't believe me if I say that I don't have any clues. In reality, before the power of the curse appeared, my father suddenly said that he had received instructions from God, and then he built a divine temple on Goddess Mountain, and sent a bunch of Miao people to guard it. After the divine temple was built, something happened to our 5 poison sect. Black Orchid felt that Yun Jioge would not act until she saw the rabbit, and felt that she had to give her some benefits. God's instructions? Interesting, she had been a goddess for so many years, but she had never seen a god's instructions. Yun Jioge smiled coldly, then continued to ask Black Orchid, then didn't you send anyone to the divine temple on Goddess Mountain to take a look? I sent many people in, but not a single one came out alive, including the goo worms. When Black Orchid spoke of Goddess Mountain, fear appeared on her face. Although she had never entered it, just looking at the divine mountain from afar made her feel fear from the depths of her soul. Yun Jioge frowned. It looked like she would have to go to Goddess Mountain to find the final secret. Not necessarily. Black Orchid still has something else to say. Zishang secretly transmitted his voice to Yun Jioge. Seriously, can't these people just tell us the truth? What's the point of hiding it like this? Yun Jioge was venting her anger on him. You've just arrived today, even an idiot wouldn't tell us everything immediately. Zishang was speaking the truth. Right. Yun Jioge admitted that Zishang was right. I'll try him again when I have the chance. Zishang comforted Yun Jioge. It's all up to you. Yun Jioge was relieved. Black Orchid had been sneaking glances at Yun Jioge's expression all this time. She saw that her expression was constantly changing and she had no idea what she was thinking. She also felt slightly uneasy. Miss Black Orchid, I've decided to stay and search for the reason behind the power of the curse with you. I'll be in your care in the future. Yun Jioge finished her transmission with Zishang, and gave Black Orchid a friendly smile. That's really great. Black Orchid let out a sigh of relief and then asked half-jokingly, I wonder what Miss Yun came to the 100,000 mountains for. Don't tell me that Yi sent you a distress signal. Our 100,000 mountains is filled with poisonous miasma. Wanting to send a communication talisman is harder than reaching the heavens. I won't hide it from you, I'm actually a disciple of the Immerse sect. This time I accompanied 2 of our sect's Golden Core seniors to visit the 5 poison sect master, but I didn't think that they would never return. After I snuck into the 5 poison sect, I found that one of the Golden Core had already turned into a stone statue, and the other Golden Core had disappeared. When I escaped, I saw Yi use Immerse, so I followed her to find you. Yun Jioge's words were half true and half false. I wonder what your Immerse sect seniors came to find my father for? Black Orchid had already guessed that Yun Jioge was a member of the Immerse sect. I'm not sure about that, the seniors didn't say, but I'm guessing that they're here to ask for goo. Yun Jioge shook her head. Her words were reasonable. The 100,000 mountains had a rich variety of goo, and they could even customize their functions so they were much better than spirit beast. When some sects had special needs, they would also specially come to ask for goo. So that's how it is. You said that a golden core disappeared, then where did he go? Black Orchid continued to ask. I was just about to ask you. You've always been monitoring the 5 poison sect in the swamp. Did you see anyone escape? Yun Jioge wanted to find Shirley, so she needed Black Orchid's help. Chapter 465. I'll have to investigate this thoroughly. To tell you the truth, the people I've sent to keep an eye on him are all regular Qi condensation disciples. If it was a golden core cultivator who escaped, I'm afraid they wouldn't be able to tell. Black Orchid was slightly troubled. Miss Wulan, please think of a way. If you can find me a golden core senior, we'll have another helper. Yun Jioga requested solemnly. I'll try my best, but for the sake of caution, please come with me. Wulan invited sincerely, wanting to use this opportunity to get closer to Yun Jioga. All right, I'll go with you. Yun Jioga left Yi Yunji by Yi Yu's side to protect him, and returned to the valley with the invisible Zishang and Wulan. Inside the valley, Wuya was organizing people to treat the people Zishang had attacked. Zishang had been merciful just now. Other than being shot by his poison arrows, these people didn't suffer any other injuries. They would be fine after drinking the antidote. Have Wuya come to the hall, I have something to talk to her about. Wulan ordered her guard. Yes. The guard answered respectfully and immediately went to find Wuya. Wulan brought Yun Jioga to the hall, warmly invited her to sit and personally served her tea. This is our Miaojiang's special golden tea. Have a taste, Miss Yun. Good tea. Yun Jioga praised, smelling the tea. Just as she was about to drink it, Wuya came. Sister, were you looking for me? Yes, you've been guarding the swamp these past few days. Did you notice anything unusual about our Five Venoms sect? Wulan asked. Wuya glanced at Yun Jioga and said, Didn't anything unusual sit beside you? Don't be rude. Wulan frowned and reprimanded her before continuing to ask, Other than Miss Yun, did anyone else leave Five Venoms sect like Golden Core cultivators? Golden Core cultivators? I didn't see them. Wuya shook her head guiltily. She hadn't been paying much attention to Five Venoms these past few days. Miss Wuya, our sect's Golden Core cultivators probably visited Five Venoms in the early hours of the morning. Think carefully, did you notice anything unusual at that time? Yun Jioga put down her teacup. Chun Sanyong, a Golden Core cultivator, had turned into a stone statue. Why is your sect's senior visiting someone in the wee hours of the morning? Wuya said snappily. She was resting in the wee hours of the morning and was not in the swamp at all. All right, call all the believers who have been stationed in the swamp over the past few days. I'll ask them myself. Black Orchid knew her sister's personality as well. Asking her was a complete waste of time, so she might as well ask the believers. Wuya reluctantly went down to call for help. Black Orchid asked personally, and in the end an old Meow Man provided a clue. In the wee hours of the morning, a strong gust of wind suddenly blew outside. It looks like it's heading southwest. Are there any places with especially thick yin qi in the southwest? Yun Jioga asked Wulan. Yes, there is a place of extreme yin over there, and the yin energy there is very thick. Black Orchid had grown up in the 100,000 mountains, and knew the surroundings like the back of her hand. Looks like that senior has gone there to recuperate. I wonder if it's convenient for Miss Black Orchid to bring us there. Having someone to lead the way was better than Yun Jioga wandering around blindly. Of course. Then let's depart now. Black Orchid really wanted another Golden Core cultivator to help her. Sister, I'll go too. Wuya said with her large rolling eyes. Stay here and look after the camp. Don't cause me any trouble. Black Orchid didn't want her disappointing sister to offend an esteemed guest again. Wuya pouted, and when her eyes landed on Yun Jioga, she scanned her surroundings. She vaguely remembered that when she was captured she saw an extremely beautiful man. Could it be an illusion? Miss Yun, there are many trees and miasma in the 100,000 mountains. Flying on artifacts will be a lot of hindrances. Would you like to choose a black eagle as your ride? Black Orchid suggested kindly. The black eagles of their Five Venom sect were a combination of spirit beast and goo beast. Not only did they know the terrain of the 100,000 mountains like the back of their hands, they could even automatically protect their master and fend off enemies. That's exactly what I was thinking. I'll have to trouble Miss Black Orchid to arrange it. Black Orchid fawned over everything, and Yun Jioga wouldn't always give her a hard time. Our Five Venom sect has an eagle garden. Miss Yun, come pick one with me. Black Orchid brought Yunjioge to the cliff where they kept the black eagles. They saw mighty and majestic black eagles perched on the cliffs, looking down at them and letting out loud and clear cries. They were gossiping. Big Sister Black Orchid has brought someone again. This chick isn't bad. I like her. With your burly appearance, do you think you're worthy of such a delicate chick? Only someone as handsome as this young master can do it. Yunjioge listened to the idle chatter of the eagles and found it a little funny. As expected, food and lust were part of human nature. Even eagles knew how to pick good-looking masters. Miss Yun, have you taken a look? Do you want me to recommend one for you? Black Orchid realized that Yunjioge was a person with her own ideas. She didn't dare to recommend her rashly, afraid that she would misunderstand. These eagles are all very good. Yunjioge was about to choose one randomly when Zhishang transmitted to her. Choose the one in the third cave on the left. That one is too fat. Yunjioge looked in the direction Zhishang pointed at in shock. She was instantly speechless. She saw a round-headed and extremely fat black eagle squatting in the cave. If she didn't look closely, she would think that it was a meat pigeon. That one's cultivation is already close to golden core. It's just that it hasn't developed intelligence yet, Zhishang said softly. How is that possible? Demonic beasts could only cultivate and become spirit beasts after developing intelligence. Foundation establishment demonic beasts could already communicate with their consciousness. Some of them were also very fluent in speech. Like Chun Sanyang, who was extremely talented and cultivated seduction techniques, she often dual cultivated with male cultivators. She could even transform in advance. No matter how slow it was impossible for a golden core cultivator to not have developed intelligence. If you can't, you can take a look yourself. Zhishang didn't know how to explain and decided to let Yunjioge see for herself. Yunjioge opened her spiritual eye and looked carefully. She saw that the fat eagle's demonic energy was extremely dense. Even though it was a golden core cultivator, there was a strange golden-gray energy blocking its forehead. That was why it looked so dazed. What's that thing on its forehead? Yunjioge looked again and again but couldn't figure out anything. I can't tell either. Choose it first, then study it properly when we get back. Zhishang suggested Yunjioge to choose that fat eagle because of this. Otherwise, if it was just a mount, there were so many black eagles here that any one of them could do the job. All right. Yunjioge nodded. Black Orchid, who was waiting at the side, said, I choose that one. This one. Black Orchid looked at the black eagle whose face was so fat that she couldn't even see it clearly. Since when did her eagle park have such a fat black eagle? Chapter 466. That's right, the fattest one. Yunjioge nodded. Before Wu Lan could say anything, all the black eagles in the eagle garden became excited. She actually chose that food-snatching monster? Thank heavens, someone is finally going to tame that damn meat eagle. Motherf ***, I don't know where this meat eagle came from, squatting here and snatching food from us every day. If we resist even a little, we will be beaten half to death. This baby is so wronged. A tall black eagle said with a grievance. Miss Yun, this black eagle is too fat. You should change to another one. Look at that mid-stage foundation establishment one on the left. It has the highest cultivation in our eagle garden, and it's also very obedient. Wu Lan's conscience suggested that Yunjioge change to another eagle. Yunjioge looked at the middle stage black eagle. It was the one that said it was wronged. Feeling Yunjioge's gaze, it immediately raised its head and puffed out its chest. It paced around the branches of the cliff. Then it spread its wings and circled in the air, warning the other black eagles with its eyes, but it didn't dare to approach the fattest one. To each his own. I just feel like I'm fated with this one, so I'll take it. Yunjioge smiled. Alright then. Wu Lan also knew that devil cultivators had always been strange and had different hobbies and interests. Maybe they just thought that the meat eagle was mighty. Then can I imprint it now? As long as he imprinted the spiritual imprint on the meat eagle, he could tame it. Of course it's yours now. Wu Lan looked as if she could do whatever she wanted. Heavens, she's serious. Everyone run before the food-snatching monster unleashes its power. The big black eagle screeched in fear. The group of black eagles instantly scattered. Wu Lan was still a little confused when she saw Yun Jioge pinch his fingers with a serious expression and shoot a faint purple spirit light at the meat eagle. The meat eagle, which had been pretending to sleep, suddenly opened its eyes. Its eyes covered in fat flashed with a sharp light. It opened its fat wings and flapped, sending Yun Jioge's purple spirit light flying. It really was a golden core cultivation. Yun Jioge's fighting spirit rose. His hands moved like wheels and formed seals again. The purple spirit light shot towards the meat eagle like a meteor shower. Oeo. The meat eagle was enraged. It spread its wings and shot toward Yun Jioge like a cannonball. Wherever it went, the purple light dissipated. How dare you? Black Orchid hadn't noticed anything unusual about this meat eagle. Seeing that it dared to resist, he shot out a black chain to help Yun Jioge restrain it. The meat eagle opened its sharp red beak and spat out a series of red fireballs that looked like small cannons. In an instant, the black chain was melted into molten iron. Wu Lan's eyes widened in shock. This iron chain was a level 3 artifact she had bought from the Tower of 10,000 Treasures during her travels. It was usually very useful for tying up disobedient demon beast. She did not expect it to be destroyed. Only now did she realize that this kind of strength was at least at the gold core stage. The meat eagle was getting angrier and angrier. The feathers on its body turned into flames, and its head swelled several times in size. The fireballs it spat out were the size of fists, and the temperature of the entire eagle park rose. The black eagles circling in the distance couldn't help but rejoice at their speed when they saw this. Even Black Orchid couldn't withstand the heat and flew away. Zishang, hurry and help me stop it. Yun Jioge saw that the black eagle was too ferocious. She didn't want to expose the secret of the Thunderfire Needle and God power, so she could only ask Zishang for help. Zishang raised his hand and shot out a spiritual rope, trapping the meat eagle firmly. Yun Jioge took the opportunity to imprint a divine sense on the meat eagle, and heard it struggle with all its might. Woo, the food here is delicious. I don't want to go. So it turned out to be a foodie. That would be easy to deal with. Yun Jioge took out 2 cherry pills and stuffed them into its mouth. Come with me and you'll have spirit pills to eat every day. Delicious. The meat eagle's eyes lit up after swallowing the cherry pill, and it immediately contracted with Yun Jioge obediently. From now on you're called Dummy. Yun Jioge patted Dummy's big fat head, and looked up at the distant Black Orchid. Now that I have a mount, can you take me to the Yinchi Valley to take a look? Of course, then let's go now. Black Orchid had already discovered that this dummy was an outsider, but she didn't think much of it. Although a golden core mount was good, it was useless if it didn't listen. Black Orchid's big black eagle had a very down-to-earth name. It was called Dashun. It looked majestic and had a cultivation level of late foundation establishment. One look and you could tell that it was a demonic beast that had seen the world. When Dummy saw Yun Jioge, it didn't feel anything special. Under its master's command, it led the way to the Yinchi Valley. Yun Jioge sat on Dummy's chubby back and Zishang stood behind her in stealth. The sky above the 100,000 mountains was shrouded in Yin mist. If one flew using artifacts, they would have to open their spirit eyes to see the road. Also, flying too high would make it hard to see, and flying too low would make it easy to crash into trees. Having a mount really saved a lot of trouble. We're here. That's the Yinchi Valley. Black Orchid pointed at a valley in front of them that was shrouded in Yin Qi. Yun Jioge stood up and saw that the valley was filled with thick Yin Qi, and there were even traces of blood Qi roiling within it. It looked very ominous. Dummy, go down and take a look, Yun Jioge ordered. No, it's dangerous. Dummy circled above the valley, unwilling to go down. Big Shun also seemed very annoyed. In the end, he actually turned and ran away with Black Orchid. Forget it, we'll go down ourselves. Dummy, find a place nearby and wait for me. Yun Jioge patted Dummy on the head, then grabbed Zishang's hand and jumped down into the valley. The instant they landed, an indescribably strange smell assailed their nostrils, and everything became gray and hazy. Release your white bone monkey. There's something strange about this place, Zishang said softly. What's strange? Yun Jioge asked as she released the white bone monkey. Kacha. After the white bone monkey landed on the ground, its soul flame wildly flickered, and its mouth moved up and down as if it had seen something terrifying. What's wrong? Isn't this Xianxia that you like? Yunjioge asked curiously. How is this Xianxia? This is clearly demonic qi, alright? In any case, this isn't my cup of tea. I don't want to eat it. The white bone monkey sent its consciousness to Yunjioge, then shrank back to the size of a palm and jumped back into the storage bag. Hey. What demonic qi? What do you mean? Just as Yunjioge was about to grab the white bone monkey and ask it for clarification, the cute baby's voice sounded out. Don't force it. The qi here is very chaotic. There's yin qi, demonic qi and demonic qi all mixed together. If it stays here any longer, it'll become an idiotic little monkey. How do you know that the qi here is chaotic? Aren't you a freaking alchemy cauldron? Little Grass told me. Master, you didn't forget about her, did you? The cute baby was a bit dissatisfied. Little Grass was raised by him to be filial to his master. If he didn't take her seriously, it would be the same as not taking him seriously. Chapter 467. Who said that? I can forget anyone but Xiao. Yunjioge would not admit that she had long forgotten about the demonic fetus. That's more like it. The cute little baby did not doubt him and gestured like an old man. In this situation we need Xiao. Quickly let it out. Can it really do it? Yunjioge's impression of Xiao was that of a tire baby. Of course. The cute little baby looked confident. Yunjioge let Xiao out and found that the tire baby was already as big as a 1-year-old child. Xiao had red lips and white teeth. Her facial features were exquisite, and she looked somewhat similar to Yunjioge. She had a white and chubby body with only a grass skirt around her waist. Her 2 chubby feet were also bare. Master. Xiao waved her chubby little hands and hugged Yunjioge's calf. Come on, quickly put on your clothes. Yunjioge guiltily took out a piece of cloth woven from spirit silk. The chubby little boy had been born for so long, yet she did not even prepare clothes. She was really incompetent. No, Ding Ding has prepared clothes for me. Xiao twisted her body and the grass skirt around her waist became a green jumpsuit. Uncomfortable, I don't like it. The jumpsuit changed back into a grass skirt in less than a quarter of an hour. This child loved the feeling of running around naked in the most primitive way. If you don't like it, then don't wear it. Zhishang saw that Xiao looked like Yunjioge and immediately loved her. Thank you, my king. Xiao showed a flattering smile to Zhishang. Clothes are a small matter. The most important thing now is to find Yin Shirley. Xiao, can you help us find him? Yunjioge still remembered his purpose of coming to the valley. Xiao waved her little hands and black demonic energy swayed back and forth, causing the Yin energy in the valley to ripple. A strange buzzing sound came from the depths of the valley and spread out like a tide. The person you are looking for is in that cave, but there are many small bugs inside. Follow me closely and I'll bring you in. Xiao clapped her hands and said. Aren't you afraid of those small bugs? Yunjioge asked curiously. With Master here, I'm not afraid of anything. Xiao shook her head and the fat on her cheeks swayed. Right, you lead the way. I'll cover you from behind. Yunjioge took out the thunderfire needle. If anything went wrong, he would immediately rescue Xiao. Don't be afraid, this little fellow is very powerful. Zhishang patted Yunjioge's nervous arm and pulled her to follow behind Xiao. Although Xiao looked fat, she ran quite fast. Her 2 short legs clattered as she rushed into a cave deep in the valley. The cave was deep and long, and the deeper they went, the stronger the strange smell became. So slow down. Yunjioge anxiously watched as Xiao ran further and further away. Zhishang raised his hand and flicked out a thin purple spirit thread, which he tied around Xiaocao's chubby arm. She followed it around and around until they arrived at a spacious cave. The cave was filled with fog and the surroundings could not be seen clearly at all. Ah, there are so many little bugs here. It's so disgusting. Xiaocao's shriek came from the fog. Yunjioge and Zhishang rushed over and saw that the walls and ceiling of the cave were filled with grayish-white stone worms. They were about the size of a thumb and their surfaces had already been petrified. However, there were white spots the size of rice grains in the middle, densely packed on the wall. It was extremely disgusting. These are the mountain drilling worms that have been cursed. Xianxia hurriedly put up a defensive barrier. Xiaoqiao, come back. Yunjioge immediately pulled Xiaoqiao back. I'm going to kill these bad bugs. Xiaoqiao clapped her hands and a black demonic flame landed on the grayish-white worms. With a loud boom, the gray gas instantly ignited. The stone worms struggled and screamed. After the layer of gray light on their surface was burned away by the demonic flame, the white light suddenly expanded and devoured the flame. Then their bodies rapidly grew. These worms can actually devour demonic energy. Xianxia's expression became serious. Xiaocao's demonic flame and his demonic energy were both part of the world's energies. If these stone worms could devour vital energy, then they could devour his demonic energy. Let me try. Yunjioge also summoned his divine fire. The golden flame with a hint of white light landed on the bodies of the worms. The white bone flame was instantly extinguished, but the golden flame completely burned them. They can only devour my white bone flame. They can't do anything to my divine fire. Yunjioge let out a sigh of relief. If these worms could even devour divine fire, then it would be too terrifying. However, Xianxia didn't relax. If his demonic fire couldn't solve the problem in front of him, then what right did he have to stand beside Yunjioge and protect her? Kill them, kill them. Xiaoqiao was still angrily attacking the stone worms. Some were killed but some evolved. Xianxia suddenly had an idea. He said to Xiaoqiao, change your method. Don't attack them but fight for their vital energy. What? Xiaoqiao turned her head and looked at Xianxia with a confused expression. Do it like me. Xianxia pinched his fingers and shot out a purplish-black demonic fire. It turned into a mouth with sharp teeth and swallowed the worms, fighting for their vital energy. At first, because there were too many worms, the demonic fire mouth couldn't handle them all. However, it quickly found a way to deal with them. It broke them up and killed them one by one. The strong prey on the weak, survival of the strong. Yunjioge immediately understood. Fight for it, fight for it. Xiaoqiao was originally a demonic embryo. Growing up by devouring was instinctive to her. She waved her small hands and the demonic energy in her body condensed into a demonic incarnation to fight for the vital energy with the worms. The worms that had their white energy taken away would turn into stone and be smashed by Xiaoqiao. I'll look after Xiaoqiao. Go find Yin Shirley. Xianxia knew that Yunjioge was thinking about that guy. Okay, I'll go over there. Call me if you need anything. Seeing that Xiaoqiao was enjoying killing worms, Yunjioge left with peace of mind. Yin Shirley, where are you? Yunjioge called out as he walked. I'm here. Yin Shirley's weak voice came from a corner. Yunjioge walked over and saw that Yin Shirley was tightly bound by countless white threads. He looked like a white cocoon. Are you okay? Yunjioge wanted to use his evil knife to cut open the cocoon. However, he didn't expect the knife to turn into scrap metal the moment it touched the white on the cocoon. This devouring power was too terrifying. These threads have devouring power. Don't worry about me. Leave quickly. Yin Shirley's voice was extremely weak. It looked like he couldn't hold on much longer. Yunjioge thought about it and slowly used his divine power to condense a small golden knife. He stabbed it into the white cocoon and finally peeled it open. Yin Shirley's black face was revealed. You're not afraid of this devouring power? Yin Shirley was shocked. This devouring power is nothing special. As long as you're stronger than it, you can devour it. What's on your body? Yunjioge looked at Yin Shirley's black body and didn't dare to help him up. Chapter 468. This is corpse poison. If it wasn't for them, I'm afraid I would have died. Yin Shirley laughed bitterly. Although he was originally a living dead, the devouring power could steal the spiritual power of the heart of heaven and earth in his body. If it wasn't for his quick wit to use corpse poison to isolate it, he would have turned back into a Yin corpse with no consciousness. Corpse poison can isolate the devouring power. Yunjioge secretly remembered this and helped Yin Shirley out of the cocoon. He asked, "Oh yes, what happened when you went to the Five Venoms sect? How did Chun Sanyong become a stone statue?" When Chun Sanyong and I went to visit the Five Venoms sect, the situation inside was very normal. The sect master also looked like a normal person. Yin Shirley was interrupted by Yunjioge. What did you say? The Five Venom sect master looked like a normal person. Listen to me first. There are other things after that. Ian Shirley was helpless. Oh, continue. Yun Jioga waved his hand. In the beginning, the Five Venom sect was very normal. Later, I discovered that it was an illusion created by the maze array. I was about to escape with Chun Sanyong when the Five Venom sect master turned into a stone statue and attacked us. Chun Sanyong was petrified. After I escaped, I wanted to heal my injuries in the Xianxia Valley. I didn't expect there to be a kind of gray silk that could devour vitality. When I discovered it, I was already surrounded. If you hadn't come to save me, I wouldn't have lasted much longer. Ian Shirley still had some lingering fear. The corpse poison could only be isolated temporarily. If Yun Jioga had come a step later, it was hard to say if he would have survived. Oh yes, where are Chosin and the rest? Ian Shirley looked around and only saw Zhi Shang and an unfamiliar fat boy. They were captured by the people of Goddess Mountain. Yun Jioga told him about the temple on Goddess Mountain. We suspect that there is a nascent soul cultivator in that temple. Nascent soul cultivator? Could it be that he created all these things? The power of the curse and the devouring power complement each other and are extremely fierce. If they are allowed to spread, I'm afraid that all living things in the world will suffer. Who is so vicious? Although Ian Shirley was the demon sect master, he didn't dare to joke around with the lives of the world. I don't know either. Let's leave this place first and think of a way to solve this problem. Yun Jioga didn't know if the people of the world would suffer. She only knew that if Ian Shirley didn't find a place to recover, he would turn into a Ian corpse in minutes. All right. Ian Shirley stood up with difficulty. Yun Jioga was just about to order Zhi Shang and Xiaoqiao to retreat when he heard a muffled explosion. A passageway appeared behind the stone worms that they had killed. The gray threads that had tied up Ian Shirley immediately retreated along the passageway. Yun Jioga looked at the passageway. It was pitch black and he couldn't see the end of it. Zhi Shang pinched his fingers and conjured a little purple insect which flew towards the depths of the passageway. However, it was devoured not long after it flew out. This passageway is the source of the devouring power and the curse power. Zhi Shang's expression was solemn. He wanted to explore it, but he was worried about Yun Jioga. How about? Just as Yun Jioga was about to say something, he saw Xiaoqiao suddenly lie down on the ground and crawl towards the passage at an astonishing speed. Get back here. Yun Jioga subconsciously chased after him and Zhi Shang hurriedly followed. Ian Shirley took a step forward and felt weak all over. In the end, he could only sit down near the passageway and adjust his breathing as he observed. You stinking brat, why didn't you tell me to run? Are you looking for a beating? Yun Jioga huffed and puffed. It took him a lot of effort to hold Xiaoqiao down. He raised his hand and spanked Xiaoqiao's but a few times. Master, I was wrong. I accidentally ran in because I smelled a very nice smell inside. Xiaoqiao pretended to cry. He really didn't do it on purpose. A very nice smell? Yun Jioga inexplicably felt that this sentence was somewhat familiar. Yes, and it smells very delicious. Xiaoqiao nodded vigorously. I remember Fei Fei said the same thing. Zhi Shang caught up and happened to hear this. So the passageway leads to the temple? Yun Jioga was surprised. Very likely. Zhi Shang nodded. Then are we still going? Yun Jioga hesitated. The woman in the temple always made him feel very uneasy. Let's go take a look. We'll retreat if the situation isn't right. Zhi Shang knew very well that all the secrets were in the temple. They had to go take a look sooner or later. Okay, let's go take a look. Yun Jioga nodded. Since the passageway was so hidden, there might be a surprise. But Xiaoqiao shouldn't cause trouble. Ignoring Xiaoqiao's resistance, she stuffed him into the demonic tripod and used her divine power to put up a small defensive barrier. She and Zhi Shang continued forward. The passageway was filled with gray threads. Both of them looked restless but didn't dare to move due to Yun Jioga's divine power. After half an hour, Yun Jioga finally reached the end of the passageway. It was a round cave wall with a gray wooden cover. Under the cover was a path paved with white jade. Smoke curled up and celestial music floated in the air. In the distance, people were chanting piously and worshipping the goddess could be heard endlessly. Seemed to be the temple. Are we going down now? Yun Jioga asked Zhi Shang. Suddenly, a familiar voice came from afar. Luotian, how about we go for a drink after your shift ends? Luotian, Wasn't that Junichen's voice? Yunjioga's eyes widened. He hurried over to the wooden cover. He saw a handsome and tall youth standing on the white jade path. In front of him was a dark-skinned, handsome youth. Who else could it be but Luo Tian? Junichen had grown up quite a bit. When they'd parted, he'd still been a proud little boy. Now he'd become a handsome youth. But that wasn't the point. The point was why these two were here. And from their conversation, they seemed to be working at the temple. Yunjioga wanted to jump down and ask, "Shu, there's something wrong with them." Zishang pulled Yunjioga and sent him a telepathic message. "Look at their eyes." Yunjioga stretched his neck and saw that Junichen's eyes were blank. His voice didn't rise or fall either. In the past, Junichen's eyes were dark and gloomy like bottomless black holes. Now it felt like the black hole had been filled up. Luo Tian's gaze was strange too. He looked at Junichen without any emotion. It was as if he was looking at a rock. The two of them chatted like ordinary guards. They would drink 2 cups after their shift ends. It was as plain water. "Is he bewitched or sealed?" Yunjioga asked Zishang. "I'm not sure. There's no one around now. Why don't you let Feifei out to test him?" Zishang said softly. Junichen and Luo Tian both raised goo worms. If they were bewitched, their life goo would know best. You're tuning in to the Zhou Xian's Legacy YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.